For decades, Vic Karate has trained students to be Power Rangers with martial arts moves like the Rapid Mantis, the Kicking Mule, the Tsunami, and the Shredded Doubler. Now you can be a Power Ranger with our Study at Home program and Sega's new game, Power Rangers the Movie. You'll battle new enemies from the movie and master the moves of every Power Ranger, even the White Ranger. Take Vic's advice.
If you don't buy it, you can't try it. Sega!
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the Movie for Sega Genesis and Game Gear, each sold separately.
My name is Ryo Hazuki. My father was killed by the warlord Lan Di. During my quest for vengeance, I've traveled far and wide and consorted with numerous unsavory characters. But enough about me. Let's talk about you, Nozomi.
Brian? Brian? Brian!
Who's Nozomi?
Send me on Dreamcast, rated T for teen.
Arcade players, get ready. The new Atari 5200 Super System is here. With a controller so advanced it plays arcade. Graphics so real it looks arcade. With arcade hits you can't play on any other system. No other home video system can touch it. The new Atari 5200 Super System. It's as good as you are, maybe even better. Next time.
Stay calm. Concentrate on the screen. Street Fighter 2 is on Super Nintendo. From the arcades, the ultimate combat game. Each fighter has a different technique, an acrobatic move, a hidden punch. It's on the streets now, exclusively on Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo with Street Fighter 2. It's unbeatable.
When it's least expected, you're elected, you're the star today. Smile, you're on Game Boy camera. It's fun to look at yourself as other people do. How's your sense of humor? There's a rumor, laughter's on its way. Smile, you're on Game Boy camera.
Yes, with Game Boy camera, you can turn photography into photography.
Smile, you're on Game Boy camera.
There's a magical place, we're on our way there. With toys in the millions all under one roof. It's called Toys R Us.
From Sega, the Master System 2 is an 8-bit console. Plays over 120 fabulous games with superb graphics and high-quality sound. Toys R Us priced $57.94.
There's millions such every all under one roof. It's called Toys R Us, Toys R Us, Toys R Us.
One instinctively knows one's...
You have just been invaded by Sega TV!
Hi, and welcome to Interactive TV!
Brought to you live from a satellite on a caravan outside Boston!
Tonight, we bring you...
Ooh, thrillers! Chat shows!
Pretend it's a game!
Promos!
Make that thing happen!
Sport!
from the TV channel that talks back. This is Megan, star of Night Trap. Megan, what's it like to be a mega CD star?
Real tough. You try dying 2,000 times a day.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Benny from Romford! Young Zapper on my show!
The weather.
The weather is whether you could do this move.
Commercial break.
Sega Mega Drive. Got one? Now you can get Mega CD. Point, click, take a trip on 500 megabytes. Whoa!
And now,
as we usher in the new, it's time to bury the old. And few is it old.
and now,
The Mega Movie. Henry. They said he'd started something. And they wanted me.
And the mic's on. How are we doing, ladies and gents? It's time for SLOPESCAST. Once again, we had a week off last week, but we're back this week. And yeah, apologies for people out there that have been looking for us on the old podcast services around the world, as I always say. Yeah, it's been a little bit quiet on that front. We've had a few personal things to get through, isn't that right, Mr. Grizzly Crichton?
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Yes, that is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to sugarcoat it, had a bit of a family tragedy.
Mhm.
So around this time last year, I had something happen to me quite horribly, or something happened to the family in general. Just to be very quick on this, we were expecting.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Me and my wife, and then unfortunately that didn't come to pass. And then we've had a similar situation literally a year to the date after. So
yeah,
I've been away, and I don't want to go into any more detail on that because
No, that's fine.
I'm definitely not the only person. So
No.
Just want to say to everyone, the podcast is super important to me. Dan was very kind and invited me to help him along this journey, and I do feel, that you guys were owed an explanation as to why, and I want to make sure that we're keeping on the track. So before we go into the podcast, we're going to change gears. Of course, I don't want this to be a sad occasion or get to put anyone down. I just wanted to explain what's up, and then we can get back to the fun.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We wanted to be honest with you guys, to where we needed to be, basically. Yeah, we've had a week off due to that. John saying that Grizzly sounds a little bit quiet. Hopefully that sounds a little bit better. But yeah, I'm seeing you're getting well wishes here in the chat, so people are hearing. Andy Norton sending his love. Michael Towns, Goat King, Michael Towns again, obviously. Chev, everyone, including myself, send you our love, man. And every so often we need to have the little bit of time off just to reset when these sort of things happen. I know I definitely did a year or so ago when stuff was going down in my personal life. So it's more than expected, mate. And everyone here seems to understand. So and that's nothing but a good thing. We got a good crowd of people here.
Yeah. Always, like these guys don't want to let any of you guys down. Because honestly, you guys keep the lights on. You keep coming in here week after week. You always like put a smile on our faces. That's for damn sure.
Yes.
And it's just amazing to get the support. It's great to see everyone every week, and I look forward to many more weeks talking at you guys.
Many more weeks, and hopefully many more years, because we are enjoying this. The numbers are going up. When I say numbers, I'm talking about views and listeners, and that's nothing but a good thing. We like you guys. I said the thing without even meaning to say it then. We like you guys hanging out with us, and like I say, every so often we need to reset, and that was something that we had to do last week, and that's why the podcasts haven't been going up orderly via all those podcast services, and why we had last week off as well. But we're back. And we're stronger than ever because we got quite a few things to be chatting about this week to catch up on the fact that we wasn't here last week, and quite a bit has happened. Quite a bit has happened. Faux show. And we're going to be getting into all of that today. But I don't think there's anything else we need to be talking about before we get into this.
Well, let's bring another brother in, shall we? It's been a while. Everyone say hello to the legendary Craig.
Now recording.
Hi, Craig. How you doing? Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yes. Hello, Craig.
Yes. So I probably should be recording my end as well, just in case, because you never know.
He does have a tendency to step away from his duties. Yeah. So
that he does.
Oh, we're not going to time it. We're going to trust Craig to a degree here.
No, we can time it. We can time it.
You're probably better, actually.
Yeah, let's do it. Actually, let's do it when my Audacity actually picks up the correct microphone. 1 2 1 2. There we go. We're going through. Let's turn that up one more time. Hello. 1 2 3. Hopefully all the audio sounds good, and me and Grizzly are at good levels. 1 2 3. There we go. So should we do a countdown?
Yep, we shall. Let's do it from 5. That's 5,
4, 3, 2, 1. Boom.
Sync.
You should listen back, Grizzly. I don't know if you ever do on the video, because obviously I cut it down so people that watch this later on only get to hear it from the beginning of the podcast at the end. They don't get all of these extra special features. The second disc of the DVD is all of these awesome people that do to watch us live. But when we count down, we're out of sync. It's quite funny.
I did notice that last time, but it's close enough.
Yeah. Absolutely. And iQual has resubscribed with Prime for 4 months. 8 in total. Look at that. Thank you so much, iQual. And thank you to Chavematic for resubscribing for 9 months, as has Michael Towns as well, all over on Twitch. Thank you guys ever so much. You're all legends. Definitely. And shout out to the YouTube crew, who I've got to say are building up very, very quickly. In fact, if we look at the numbers here, it looks like YouTube's only one person behind Twitch. Let's see who wins by the end of this. But exciting stuff. Anyway, guys, we're going to get straight into the podcast. All right. No, we're not. Before we do that, one quick thing. Yeah, look at all of the gumph I've got on the screen right here. I need to quickly... That's not what I need to do. That's very quickly... Oh, no, it is all set up. My God. Look at me. I'm all over the place. Right, let's start the podcast off right now.
You have just been invaded by...
Hey there guys, this is DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room, and you're listening to SLOPESCAST, the retro gaming news show recorded live on Twitch with my co-host Grizzly Crichton. If you like the podcast and you want to be in a chance to be on a future episode, then please do consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. And if you have any particular news stories that you would like us to cover in a future episode, then please do let us know in the dedicated rooms over on Discord. Plus, if you are listening to the podcast on any of the many podcast services around the world, then please do give us a little review. It really does help us spread our wings and get into the earlobes of plenty of other podcast goers. Anyway, enough of the plugs. Let's get on with the show.
They really do love the whole say hello to Craig thing, don't they?
They love it. How are we doing, ladies and gents? It's time for SLOPESCAST. Welcome back, everybody, and a massive thank you straight away. It goes out to Andy Norton, who's throwing bits at us. He's throwing bits at us. You know why? You know why he's doing that? Because YouTube, the people that watch live every single Thursday night on YouTube, there are now officially more people watching on YouTube over on Slope Extra by 1. Let's see what happens as we go on. Like I say, if you're listening to this podcast on a podcast service like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of those other ones, then you can actually watch it live when we record this every Thursday night at 9 p.m. UK time. What's the other things? 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, yes. Like I say,
you should come join us, maybe.
Definitely should. Definitely should. And it looks like we've got a hype train going. So choo-choo, says Michael Towns. Thank you very much. Thanks for everyone for supporting the show as much as you do. Right, we have quite a few topics we're going to be getting through tonight, as we was away last week. And, well, Grizzly, why don't you talk us through what we're going to be chatting about tonight?
Yeah, so we've had 2 weeks worth of news, and I've tried to condense it down into 6 topics, but they are somewhat bigger topics. So this week we're going to look at Bayonetta 3 and the many more games shown at Nintendo Direct, but not all of them, because that would take forever.
It would take a long time.
Speaking of a lot of games, Project Deluge is back, and they have leaked hundreds of Dreamcast and Xbox prototypes.
Oh, so exciting.
We wave farewell to the man, the legend, Sir Clive Sinclair.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Aladdin going on to the Disney collection, and by that we mean the Super Nintendo version, and more.
And more.
The Advertising Standards Agency steps in to tackle microtransactions. It's about damn time.
Mm-hmm.
And Pico Interactive returns with another, how would you say, classic? I think to some people it would be considered classic.
It's definitely infamous. I remember at the time it being a bit of a not the greatest game. It's a very unique. It's a unique character, but very basic character. Glover. That's who we're talking about here, Glover. But it's definitely built up a. I'd go as far as saying a hardcore fan base.
Yeah, it's definitely a type of fan base.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about Glover.
And guys, please do stick around for the Glover section, which is obviously at the end of the podcast. You see what we're doing there? Because I have actually reached out to the original developers of Glover, the Oliver twins, and Pico Interactive, the people responsible for this remake, and they've both given me a little bit of information about it. So, exclusive to SLOPESCAST.
Juicy deets incoming.
Oh, yes. There's quite a lot that we can take away from the few things they told us, and we'll be discussing that a little bit later on. But right now, let's move on to topic number 1. And there's so many of these directs now. Nintendo completely changed the game when they confusingly left E3 that year and decided they were just going to play a video instead. And everyone was, really? What are you doing, Nintendo? That isn't what you're supposed to do. And now everybody's followed suit. Everybody has followed suit. We're talking tiny little companies do it, bigger companies, your Sonys, your Xboxes, all of those good peeps. But obviously Nintendo were the originators, and they've just had a new one. And they showed off. And do you reckon they showed off a fair amount?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, what I was going to say is none do it like Nintendo. You see all of these direct, all these showcases, and you just think, right, they're just showing us a bunch of trailers. But with Nintendo, there's a bit of showmanship to it. I feel like Nintendo has kind of lost that since, unfortunately, Satoru Iwata left us. But yeah, they still put on a show. They still got hype behind them because they know when to show their cards.
Absolutely,
as
they do.
We can see here with Bayonetta 3.
Yes, Bayonetta 3 was definitely one of the big ones. Unfortunately, it's not a reveal. They, in true, who is it? Platinum. It's Platinum, isn't it? Yeah, Platinum fashion. They teased this or announced this an extremely long time ago, and we're finally getting to see some actual decent gameplay, and it's everything we wanted. I'm sure this is only the tip of the iceberg as to what we're actually going to be getting. It's really exciting stuff. Very much so.
So interestingly, recent news has shown that the director of Bayonetta 3 is not Hideki Kamiya, which everyone was expecting. It's actually the gentleman who was behind Scalebound.
Okay.
And in this trailer, there's a lot of action involving giant beasts fighting giant beasts with Bayonetta dancing to control them.
Obviously.
It leads me to believe a lot of the stuff that was on the cutting room floor for Scalebound has made it into this game.
Oh.
Which is neat. I like that.
That is interesting.
But Bayonetta 3, what can you say about that? They announced it far too early.
Definitely.
And I'm just glad that we now see something tangible proof that it's actually a thing. And Bayonetta looks just stunning. I love this character. I love these games. I can't wait to play it.
A lot of my time is spent researching cosplayers of Bayonetta. I don't feel like I need to. I definitely don't need to, but it's always a good thing to look up. It's always a good thing to look up. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. You know what? I actually still haven't played Bayonetta 2. But I loved Bayonetta 1, but Bayonetta 2's, it's quite high up on my I need to get on that
you
playlist.
Absolutely should. It's like 2 times better than the original game, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, everyone seems to think that. I mean, yeah, let me know in the chat, guys, which of the Bayonettas you prefer. Like I said, I've only actually played one, so I can't, give my opinion on that. I've got this lovely box set of Bayonetta 1 and 2 for the Wii U, and I think I've definitely got to play Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U. I mean, I bought the box set for it at least, so it's got to happen. But yes, Bayonetta 2, that was one of the first big ones they showed off there. Very, very exciting.
Gotta mind the utter filth that's going off in the Twitch chat.
Yes. Shh. Thank you very much, guys, for building up the hype train, but naughty. Next up, now, people that were looking on my extra slope channel, I don't normally do rant videos. In fact, I think I've only ever done a few in my entire life. But I just had to do one on this announcement. So the Super Mario Brothers movie is coming. And no, we're not talking about the 94 or 96 movie, whenever that old one came out. Everyone seems to think is good all of a sudden. I don't know where that's come from. Well, yeah, there's a new Super Mario... Yeah, there's a new Super Mario Brothers movie coming out. It was an animated movie, and in my head, that meant it was going to look like the beginning of Super Mario 3D World or Super Mario Galaxy, Odyssey, that style. You can't really go wrong with it. Charles Martinet's still with us. He can do some great voice work for it and make it like a Mr. Bean or the first half of WALL-E movie where most of it is kind of silent with a few little wahoos and all that all together. And you can make a really cool film that would fully stand the test of time. It doesn't need to be any more than that. Well, it was announced, guys, and this is very upsetting for me. It's very, very upsetting for me. But
I find this hilarious.
Oh, it's ridiculous. So we haven't seen what Mario looks like or anything like that yet, but we have heard from Mr. Miyamoto himself, who's working closely on this movie apparently, and I do believe him. He worked closely on the Universal Studios project. Seems to be quite enjoying these little outside projects. And the Super Mario Brothers movie is the next thing he's working on, with Chris Pratt as the... I make it sound like I'm heavily emphasising the Pratt part of his name. He's a great actor. He's a fantastic actor. And if I was in his shoes, I would definitely jump at the chance of being the voice of Mario because, hey, how awesome would that be? But, yeah, he's the voice of Mario. We've got Anya Taylor-Joy as the voice of Princess Peach, if I'm not mistaken. She was in the Harry Potter movies. Charlie Day is the voice of Luigi. Jack Black is the voice of Bowser. Bowser that goes, roar, and not really a lot more. And then there's loads of others.
Those last two I can buy. Charlie Day is Luigi. Yeah, I get it. All he's got to do is just change his voice a little. And Jack Black as Bowser might actually turn into something quite funny. But Chris Pratt as Mario, I'm not. No, I just don't see it.
It's odd, isn't it?
I'm waiting for the Seth Rogen moment where Donkey Kong lets out a fart and he says, "Ooh, stinky," and that's pretty much the level I'm looking for here at this stage.
Who's the voice of the big orangutan in Jungle Book? He's also in Tarantino movies and stuff.
Oh, the big orangutan. Oh, what, King Louie?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his actor's name was.
Because
you're thinking Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. That's it. When I watched that Jungle Book movie, it was stunning. It was an absolute, beautiful movie to watch. But all I could see was the fact that there was, who you just said, I've already forgot his name, singing Jungle Book songs. And I'm like, this is so weird. And then you got Scarlett Johansson as the snake, and you've got what's his name from Ghostbusters being the voice of Baloo, and all you can hear are those people doing those voices. And it's the same with The Lion King. You heard Seth Rogen as the voice of Pumbaa, and it was just, come on,
To be fair, he was quite close to the original voice, though. Seth Rogen. It's not that far off.
It's not, but I mean, it just takes me back to the days where I didn't know that Rowan Atkinson, aka Mr. Bean, was the voice of Zazu from the original Lion King, because there was no heavy emphasis on the fact they just got a good voice actor that would work for that character. And what really upsets me about this, you've also got people like you said, Seth Rogen is the voice of bloody Donkey Kong. What? Keegan-Michael Key is Toad. It's just Toad. It just goes, time for an adventure, and not much else.
I saw a great alternative choice there. Mike just put in the chat earlier. That should have been Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
Yes.
But again, Gilbert Gottfried is the voice of Iago, that was it. Yes, from Aladdin, which we'll be bringing up later. It works for the character. Why have they got these characters in there when also part of the voice cast is Charles Martinet, who is the voice of Mario, who's always been the voice of Mario, as and several other characters. Why bring in all of these AAA actors when you got the man right there?
Could you imagine a 2-hour film of wow?
I do understand that. That, but and I suppose it's the same as the Angry Birds movie. There's no voices to Angry Birds. A little bit of like grunts and stuff like that. But then they made a movie. The Angry Birds didn't look anything like they looked like in the game. Oh, massive thank you, iQuell. Sorry, I didn't realise you threw some bits down there. Appreciate that, mate. But also they had to give them voices. The end result was a film that was completely throwaway. So bare bones. And I mean, yeah, they're making a film about Angry Birds. Yeah, But when you watch those Angry Birds shorts, they're actually quite enjoyable. They're quite fun. My kids watching them and I sit there and watch them. But when they watch the Angry Birds movie, and I was just like, my God, this is awful. And unfortunately, I do feel like that's going to be the way here. I saw someone there mention about Beyonce being in Lion King, which now means when I'm watching, those lovely, incredible Elton John produced music, you hear Beyonce going, whoa, doing her thing. And it's just like, oh, come on, Beyonce. Yes, you're a great singer, but fucking leave this alone. This isn't your thing. But anyway, yes, I've ranted about this already, and I'm ranting about it now. I think it is a terrible decision to be doing this. It's going to make a movie that's going to be great fun for that one time you watch it, and then become completely forgettable. And what really blows my mind is they're working with a property that the entire world already knows, and I don't mean just some people. Kids of the age of maybe 2 or 3 upwards to the grannies and granddads at 80, 90 years old know what the hell Mario is. There's no confusion, and they didn't need to bring in all these people to try and sell a Mario Brothers movie. The name alone would have sold it. But hey,
do you know what gets me about this? It's like all of those years ago, back when the 90s and the 80s were happening, every kind of vocal depiction of Mario up until Mario 64, you always had that sleazy New York Italian accent, like, hey, I'm Mario,
Mm-hmm.
You had that kind of thing. I wonder if that's what they're gonna go for with Chris Pratt. I'd pay admission fee just to see him have it up to that degree, but I can also see that not being the case.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, there are studios that do this right. I mean, like, the way that Snoopy movie got turned into a CGI full-fledged Snoopy movie, I was like, that was so incredibly well done. But what's really quite mind-boggling to me is the fact that Mario already looks perfect and recognizable. There's theme parks based around this guy. Like they don't need to do anything to him visually, but they are definitely going to. They're going to do something to him to warrant the fact that he's voiced by all of these AAA actors. And my prediction is that it's going to be that typical pretty much every single classic franchise brought to the new world, brought to the new age of new films is going to do, where he gets moved into a new type of world or something, and they're going to change the way he looks ever so slightly to be even, like I'm expecting to see every strand of hair on his mustache rather than it being just one big shape. And I'm expecting to see the cloth on his hat and all that sort of stuff, and over the top lighting and everything else, rather than being what everyone expects it to look like. And when he becomes this ultra half realistic Mario character, that's when they're going to bring the voices in. I mean, that's my prediction. I don't know how they're going to get to that point. I think it's going to be quite basic. He's found a warp tunnel that takes him there. Like, I don't know. Like, where does this one go? Oh my God, I'm in Earth. Like, something like that's going to happen. I predict. I hope it doesn't go as far as an Earth setting. But saying that, I didn't want them to do it with Sonic, and that actually turned out right.
It's going to happen. They're going to do. It's going to be like the first trailer we see will be to a similar kind of, oh my God, what are they doing, as the Sonic movie. Guarantee it.
Hopefully it's not that extreme, because hey, I'm a Sega fan, but there's no getting around the fact that they fucked up big time. Sorry, swearing. Sonic the first time with that first teaser, but then obviously they completely U-turned. Whether that was a marketing thing or not, I know people have their assumptions with that, but yeah, there you go. Hey, all we have got to go on is the fact that I think this was a custom-made or a fan-made poster, but that box was shown off. In the question block was shown off, and what we can see from that box, and that's all we've got to go on, and obviously the names, is the fact that they are going for a very ultra realistic, heavy lit. You know what I mean? It's not as basic as the games or the animated intros look. They're definitely going for a little bit more ultra realism, which further backs up my theory on Mario looking like that as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if the film starts out in like the Nintendo Mushroom Kingdom, and Mario's talking like Charles Martinet.
Yeah, because he's in there, isn't he? Yeah.
Suddenly he gets sucked into the real world, and you find out that the Charles Martinet voice is actually just the Mushroom Kingdom language, and he can only talk in pure excitement.
Yeah,
or something just completely stupid like that.
Like making a story because they've got the voice actors, rather than bringing in the voice actors because it works with the story, doing it the wrong way round. But yes, I agree. It's a very, very, I want to say confusing and surprising, but I'm also not confused or surprised, because Illumination are behind it. They are fantastic animators. They are definitely incredible animators, but they are definitely one of the animation studios that go, oh, that film worked, let's make 17 more. And look, we can get Taylor Swift in on this one. We can get I don't know who else is big, Justin Timberlake, and it's just like, just get some real voice actors in there. Anyway, I've ranted about this enough, and I've probably just done it even longer now. Not happy about this, but at the same time, I am so excited to see something drop, because it is going to be very newsworthy and very interesting to see what they do. For probably the wrong reasons. But anyway, yeah, that's a thing that happened. Still pretty cool for them to at least have something like this to be able to talk about in a Nintendo Direct. It's very exciting, very exciting. Smash Brothers. People were expecting the final Smash Brothers character to be announced, and it wasn't. But they said in October, was it October 5th? That is going to be the day they revealed the final Smash Brothers character, and there's a very good reason that you believe, Grizzly, that they've chosen that particular date.
It's completely. It feels like this. So, if people have been following like Smash type games, they might have heard of that Nickelodeon All Stars like Smash title. I think it's quite funny how that game is coming out on exactly the same day that Nintendo are releasing their last character announcement.
Yep, absolutely. Now, if the Nickelodeon Smash Brother ripoff wasn't coming out, my prediction would have been the fact that the final one would have been a Turtles. But then I think you've got to throw all characters like that completely out of the window.
Yeah, they said in the past they want it to be a character from a game. They're not going to do like anime, cartoons, comics, or anything like that.
Fair enough.
But there's a lot of speculation about who this character is going to be.
In this particular article I've got right here, they have a prediction, and they've got not proof, but they've taken their prediction from a leak, or at least what they've been told of as a leak. And I will say that I'm with them, who I think this is going to be. So if you don't want to hear who I think it's going to be, don't listen for 10 seconds. But they predict, and don't watch for 10 seconds, but they predict it's going to be that person, Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, I hope not. I really hope not. Yeah. I mean, like, the big meme about Smash Brothers content is that they're, like, pretty much all of the DLC has been sword fighters, Fire Emblem characters, or just in general, people who fight with swords, even though there's, like, 3 main types of character. If it was me, I would like this to be Doom Guy, because you know what? Doom has been prevalent on every Nintendo platform since it was launched.
Yeah. I'm not even the biggest Smash Brothers fan, but you can't get around that. You can't get away from the hype when they drop these new characters. And yeah, I would really like it to be Doom Guy. Doom Guy is like, that's a fantastic choice, actually. I reckon it's going to be the person I said. My money is on that, but Doom Guy would be an awesome one. Definitely.
I think of it in terms of Nintendo relevance. I feel like Sora, he's had a couple of DS games, but not much else. It doesn't feel like a character special to Nintendo. I don't know.
Iquel said he'd love for it to be Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat, although he thinks it's going to be a current gen Pokemon. And I did see someone else earlier. I missed the message now, but someone said that it should be Chris Pratt. That would be pretty. That would be pretty insane. That would be like.
Hey guys,
it would actually be great for Nintendo to do that. It would be a very, very clever way for Nintendo to work with the memes, and do that. But
that would genuinely be hilarious.
Like, I actually think. Like, I would want that more than anything, because it would be so stupid, and I'm not exactly like the biggest Smash player. I don't even own this on the Switch. I still have the Wii U version. I never really played that, but it would be hilarious if it was that. I still predict it's going to be that one that I said earlier, but Doom Guy would be.
Do you know who I want it to be? Like, let's assume that Nintendo are the ultimate trolls here, and they go for a character that's not been thought of by anyone. This is the character I would pick. Google Wii Safety Guy.
Safety Guy.
Yeah, Wii Safety Guy.
Yeah.
This is the guy that you see at the beginning of every Wii game, and he's always knocking over a TV, a vase, or in other people. He's been fondly referred to as Reckless Safety Notice Guy for the Wii. He should be in Smash.
Nice. I like it.
I would love that.
I
would love that so much, especially if there was like a side Smash where you bowl the Wii remote at people.
Absolutely. No, it's a good one. It's a good. I like that. But yeah, Doom Guy is, I think, a very safe prediction, or the one that I said. Although if they did Chris Pratt, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've skipped through a few videos there. I forgot to press stop on this. Whatever I was looking on here.
Is that Get to the Skull on time?
Right, here we go. ActRaiser Renaissance was not only shown off, but released on the day of the Nintendo Switch. Now, ActRaiser was obviously a classic Super Nintendo game, very well respected in the Super Nintendo game, with music from Yuzo Koshiro, that I actually only learned probably into the PlayStation 2-ish era. I didn't even realise this. But yeah, I mean, it's a thing that's happened, but it's been getting some pretty mediocre reviews. I haven't personally played this myself, but hey, have you got any fond memories of ActRaiser?
Can't say I do. It's always been one of those ones, being a non-SNES guy. I never really got into. I never saw ActRaiser until it became a thing on YouTube, which people would be talking about.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love what I see, but of course, finding copies of it is like finding teeth from a hen. So, yeah, it's one of those ones I want to get to, and maybe this is my way to do so. It's kind of cool.
I've had a quick dabble on ActRaiser for the Super Nintendo. I'm definitely not a hardcore fan. I didn't grow up with it or anything to that sense, but I liked what I played. But in all honesty, I don't think this remakey sort of game has really done enough for me to want to play this over going back and actually experiencing the original. It's cool that more games like this are getting the remake treatment, so more people get to experience them. But hey, I don't think it's gonna look. It's looking all that beautiful. In all honesty,
it's looking a bit 2.5D. The kind of stuff that would have been amazing on the WiiWare store. Back when the Wii was a thing, but it's looking very basic now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely. Mr. Chevmatic over in the chat's asking, are we going to be explaining Richcast a little bit more? Yes, we will indeed. We will get to that near the end because they're actually part of the Glover part, which we'll explain that in a moment. But yeah, continuing on with the Nintendo Direct. So yeah, that was ActRaiser. Now, Castlevania Advance Collection finally officially announced. Now, I have got to say here, guys, I have been in talks with Konami over this. That's exciting, isn't it? I'd say so. I'd say so. So what is it? What is it? We are looking at a new collection of games similar to their previous one, the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, I think it was. That had the old original, more hardcore, linear-based Castlevanias for the most part, including up to the fantastic 16-bit. But this is the Game Boy Advance Trilogy plus Dracula X, which was the sort of dumbed-down Rondo of Blood port for the Super Nintendo. Now, this is exciting because, one, it's ported by M2, and just by saying that, like, if I didn't know that, I'd make me want to buy it straight away because those guys do not do bad ports. They're like the kings of the ports. Yeah, these are original Game Boy Advance games that are simply fantastic. They're absolutely great. These are the games, the original trilogy of games that came out after Symphony of the Night. So after the world was blown away by that particular game, and Iga Rushi, or at least for two of these games, Iga Rushi wanted to continue on with that style of Castlevania game, the Metroidvania style of Castlevania games. So it's so exciting, and this is going to be the version to play without a doubt, even over the originals, because if you go back, the original game, what was it called, Circle of the Moon, was a launch title for the Game Boy Advance. In my opinion, the very best game of the launch titles for the Game Boy Advance. But however, at the time, it was heavily panned because it's such a dark game, and trying to play any kind of a dark game on an original Game Boy Advance is virtually impossible. It's stunning, but no one could see it. M2 have done a fantastic job here, and this is definitely going to be the way to play it, and they've even advanced the audio as well. Like, there's no reason why you wouldn't get this version over the original.
I'm kind of with Top Hat Gaming Man, who happens to be in the chat.
Hey, Top Hat, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, so I'm kind of with him. It looked a bit weeby when these games first came around. It's very anime on the covers, whereas I always preferred that sort of westernized view of Dracula and that kind of like classical art that's been almost taste led by Eastern art. Sorry.
Yeah.
Western.
But I mean, at the time, I was with you. I wanted games of a fist smashing through the cover, or a car on fire, or something like that, rather than an anime girl looking too far into the distance, through the reflection of a sword. I'm definitely with you. But yeah, retrospectively going back to these games, like they 100% stand the test of time, without a doubt. Definitely, and good to see you here, Top Hat.
Yeah, I love seeing all of the classic because there's a good mixture of that Symphony for the Night style, and I think you got Dracula X in there as well if you want something a bit more traditional Castlevania. Mm-hmm. So good mixture there, and the Game Boy Advance, of course, is a great little machine, and it's just a shame that these games kind of suck on the Game Boy Advance, but were really good on the DS, and I'm sure they're going to be even better on Switch.
Well, I've been looking up these games even more so recently, hence why Konami have been in contact with me. We're actually I'm working on a video that will be coming out hopefully within the week, actually, regarding this particular set. And when looking back at those Trilogy, I've gone into detail in the video about those particular games, but Aria of Sorrow, the third game of the Game Boy Advance Trilogy, which was done by Igarashi, is looking back through. When I look at reviews of what other people have been talking about with that particular game, lots of people have been saying that is even better than Symphony of the Night. Now, I don't know if I sit in that ball court, but it just goes to show how good these games are. They really are that good. I mean, I don't need to tell you that Symphony of the Night is good, and for people out there to say that this is arguably better or on par or around about, it 100% worth picking up. Like I say, it was a very badly kept secret by Konami that this was happening. They were putting up ratings of it on Amazon sites and God knows wherever else, but hey, it's here and it looks absolutely stunning. A great way to play these games for sure, definitely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Nothing but a good thing, as I say.
Yes.
Now, for me, this was the highlight of the show because I like to discover new things, and this was a new thing. And I know when I was watching this with a few of the people over in Discord when it was happening, including yourself, Grizzly, we both got quite excited over this.
I was more than a tad excited. I love me some pink fluff balls. Because Kirby is going 3D.
He is.
It's only been how many years? Like 1983, the first Kirby game or something like that. Crazy. No, that's a bit later actually, wasn't it? 1993, if anything. But yeah, Kirby is. I don't know. I've got a real soft spot for this guy because his games are not difficult. They're not difficult in the slightest. No. But there's just something to be said about being able to play a game, not having to worry about it, and just having fun. And that's what Kirby represents to me. And I'm really looking forward to his first proper 3D adventure in the Forgotten Land. Yes! I don't know. I'm probably way too excited for this.
It looks so nice. Now, I'm with you. These games are easy. But you know what? I look at the original Mario games as quite easy games. I think if you want a good... well, I suppose they're not 3D games, but if you want a good 2D type Nintendo game that's actually got a good bit of challenge, I think the Donkey Kong Country Return series are some of the best. The only thing I will say is I hope it's not too easy. Because you have Nintendo Easy, and you know, like I say, Mario are easy games, but then they have so much more that makes them like so good, and you never feel bored because they're so easy. But where if you look at things like the 3D Yoshi games, or sorry, Yoshi's, I think it's Crafted World or whatever that one is on the Switch. I played that and I couldn't get past about 5 or 6 levels. I did because my son got very much into it and I played it with him, but it was so easy, it was tedious to play. And I am worried that Kirby and the Forgotten Land will be closer to that ultra easy mode. And I really don't want it to be. I don't want it to be. I hope it's easy, but still with a little bit of challenge in there and enough extra to make it worth your while.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting the impression that, you know, the Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury, I get the impression that this was almost like a prototype for what we're seeing here in the Kirby trailer.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of got that, I don't think it's like a full 3D like world like Super Mario Odyssey. Mm-hmm. I think we're looking at something that's going to almost be like a diorama of levels that you go through. But yeah, in terms of ease, I do want it to have something to it. I want it to have something worth coming back to. But I also kind of don't mind if it isn't, you know.
No, I mean I'm getting this game regardless. It was a great thing for them to show off, and yeah, I'm super excited about it. It looks stunning. It looks great. And Top Hat Gamer Man's trolling in there. Too much water. Yeah. Games with water in always looks nice if they get that reflection nice. I remember back in my day. No, when the GameCube came out. Does anyone remember when Pikmin? Oh, look at those water effects! Don't they look nice? But yeah. Anyway, yes, Kirby in the Forgotten Land. It looks really nice. I'm very excited for it. And well, guys, those were the big announcements worth talking about regarding that Nintendo Direct. Considering we've been chatting about them, good and bad, for the last probably half an hour, maybe something like that. 40 minutes means that it was a pretty successful Direct, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's an odd thing. I know that people are going to moan because they're going to go, well, why didn't you talk about Monster Hunter, or why didn't you talk about this or that? But in reality, there's a Monster Hunter at every Nintendo Direct. It really does become quite difficult to tell people like, oh yeah, this looks kind of cool, or I really haven't played Monster Hunter. Maybe one day, because that day has not come, and I don't think it will for me. But you know, it's what it is. There's a lot to talk about in these Nintendo Directs, but yeah, it can take too long. So stick to what works for us, I think.
Yeah, let's do the best of the bunch. Best of the bunch. Now, moving on. Another very, very exciting thing happened over the last couple of weeks. Nearly 500 Dreamcast and Xbox prototypes have joined the Deluge preservation effort. Now, we've talked about this the Deluge preservation effort quite a few times. I think the biggest one was the PlayStation 2.
PS2.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
was it like over 700?
Yeah, 700 demos, and they were showing off for like E3 demos of Shadow of the Colossus and various other games.
So exciting!
Kind of just gone and done the same with Dreamcast and Xbox.
Now this is my bag, because the Dreamcast is one of my favourite systems of all time, and the original Xbox is my favourite Xbox of all time. So getting prototypes for these systems, I'm definitely going to be digging deep once I've got this week out of the way and I can finish off with a few videos I've been working on, big videos. But yeah, there is some exciting stuff on here. If I actually scroll down the news article here, let's have a look. Some of the more exciting ones there. So you've got 349 Microsoft Xbox prototypes and 135 Sega Dreamcast games. There's a lot less Sega Dreamcast games. That's not far off, like, not the whole collection, but that's a good portion of the actual games there.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
those
highlights
that people care about.
Yeah, exactly. So highlights from the latest dump include an early build of Four-Wheel Thunder that was compiled 5 months before the game launched. At the time, it was known as Off-Road Thunder, as well as prototypes of Test Drive Cycles, Vigilante 8 Second Offense, which I actually wanted to do a complete history on. Maybe that will be what I need to finally do it. WWF Attitude, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2, all for the Dreamcast. I'm sure old Top Hat Gaming Man in the chat is pretty excited about the early prototype of WWF Attitude, see what they added and what they took away. Yeah, for the Xbox prototypes, we got some classic Sega development stuff. You know me, always got to be bringing up Sega in these podcasts. You had things from Toe Jam and L3, Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller. That's something I'm very interested in looking into, as I am Jet Set Radio Future and Sega GT. Now, what's exciting about Sega GT is there was also a Sega Dreamcast prototype. And who was in it? Luigi.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So it's just crazy to be able to find these things that the developers put in to play around. It reminds me of the old Amstrad, like 8-bit computer game called Squeak, where every time you completed the little maze-like level, Squeak would make a little comment like "well done" or whatever it was. But as a joke, the development guys behind it put all of these heavily offensive things about doing each other's mums and stuff like that, and that was the version that accidentally shipped. This is that same kind of thing. You see all of these crazy little prototypes, crazy little things that they add to the prototypes for their own fun and amusement while making these games, and we get to actually see that right here. And look, hey, Luigi is in Sega GT, in a Sega game. Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
That's so cool. I love seeing stuff like this. It makes me wonder what's left to discover. So,
oh yeah,
I mean, with this amount of games, with this amount of content, there's bound to be some more stuff. So this is going to keep people going for a hell of a lot of time. Hell of a long time.
As Michael Town said, "Oh hey, look, it's Charlie Day."
There's a great list. If anyone's interested, there's like a separate link which goes to hiddenpalace.org, Project Deluge, and it gives you a full rundown of everything that's been leaked. So that's in the Word doc, Dan, the
okay.
full list. But yeah, it's 135 prototypes. Pretty much, I think what gets me about this list is, so all of this was pulled together from a personal collection. So somebody has been going around to trade shows and various other avenues, getting as many discs as they can. And these have all been pulled from physical media. So just like last time when it came to the PS2, a lot of this might not work perfectly because it's on rotting disc media. But this is just the stuff that they could get back, and there's plenty more to get to. So
it makes me want to get one of those GDMU things for my Dreamcast, so I can just throw all of these games in there and just spend a couple of days just going through them, because there's going to be some really exciting stuff in here, especially on that Xbox side of things as well, like getting prototypes for Jet Set Radio Future and Crazy Taxi 3. Wow, that's like dream come true stuff for me. It really is. It's so exciting, so exciting.
I love the fact that they managed to find Philips CDI game prototypes. It's just why even bother looking at those? Just focus on the Xbox stuff.
No, you know, Wrestling with Gaming. He's a big fan of that. You know, let's keep the fan happy.
Someone has to be.
Yeah. So, moving on
stuff.
to slightly sadder news here. Over the last couple of weeks, we have had a couple of people pass in the retro gaming space. Before we get to Sir Clive Sinclair, it was obviously a legend, an absolute legend. We've also got to give a massive shout out to, I want to make sure I'm actually saying his name correctly, Mick Ginty. I'm saying it wrong. I'm probably completely saying it wrong. One of the legendary Mega Drive artists that worked on Street Fighter 2, Streets of Rage 2 and 3 as well. Like some insanely iconic, the iconic game covers that you remember from your youth if you was a gamer in the early 90s. That man was a massive part of them, as well as many other things as well. But obviously, Retro Gaming Show, that was where he stood out for us, and he passed, as did Sir Clive Sinclair, the guy that helped bring the home computer market into the masses with his very, very cheap ZX Spectrum.
Yeah.
So
yes, it's a sad week. It's a sad couple of weeks. I know that this news is relatively old now, but it seemed remiss when we got back to it that we wouldn't raise a glass to Sir Clive, because
absolutely,
this man was prolific. You know, he created the ZX Spectrum, that so-called gaming crash of 1983 that everyone talks about in the States. Didn't happen over here because of men like this.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't have a ZX Spectrum. I do remember a couple of friends having ZX Spectrums. I had an Amstrad. And the games that I used to go and buy for like £1.99 down at the chemist, like that was how bizarre it was here in the UK. When you guys were, I can't believe it, I'm finding games that are like £1 in bins. You know, when the video game crash of 1983 happened, you always hear the stories of, I managed to pick up ET for £1. Like, mate, that was how much games were for us. And when you compare it to the Atari 2600, I don't really think they were any better or worse, if I'm honest. I think they were about in the same part. These were games made by some of the most legendary game coders out there for these systems that were remarkably affordable in the home computer market. And it was because of people like Sir Clive Sinclair and others, like Alan Sugar for the Amstrad, that were able to bring that to the home market. Now there is a sort of a reenactment documentary that I actually didn't watch until quite recently, about a year or so ago. I watched it, called Micro Men, which looks at the history of those, and it features I can't remember the name of the actor, but the guy who plays ZX Spectrum. It gives you a bit more of an insight into this guy. I'm not 100% sure how perfectly accurate it is, but from what I hear, it is quite up there. A lot of British YouTubers are putting out videos showcasing their love for what this guy was able to achieve. And yeah, I think it's important that we share some love. And also, Top Hat Gaming Man also says they're rip to Boise as well from Only Fools and Horses. For the British people watching, I know Only Fools and Horses isn't exactly a big thing over in the States, but yeah, Boise, one of the most iconic members of that cast from Only Fools and Horses, has sadly passed away over the last couple of weeks as well. And that one hit like a ton of bricks. Legends, all of these people legends, but it's unfortunately the age we've got to, they're dropping, and unfortunately over the last couple of weeks dropping like flies. Much respect to all three of them,
for sure.
And I suppose you've also got to have a look at his very failed, talking to Sir Clive Sinclair here, but his very much failed electric motorized bike thing. Of its time. Oh yes,
people will be riding around in stuff that looks like this soon, I'm fairly sure. I mean, we're starting to see those micro scooters on pavements. That's not too far from this.
I like to think that if he was around just a month or so longer, he'd be going past the petrol stations here in the UK, putting up a little middle finger to all of those people that are queuing up for petrol. Because if you don't know, here in the UK, we've got a bit of a petrol shortage, and there are queues as far as the eye can see for people trying to fill up with diesel and petrol. And there's this guy, Sir Clive Sinclair, going around in his originally mocked electric scooter.
Which looked like it was one of those toys from Mask.
Yeah, he definitely watched Tron before he made it, didn't he?
For sure.
Yes, a legend, a bit controversial in his time, but yeah, like I say, there's no getting around his impact on the UK home computer market. Yeah, legend, absolute legend, and much respect to him. This one goes out to you, Clive. Great job. Now, slightly more upbeat here. You know me. I'm all about Disney. I do love Disney. Oh, let's turn that down a little bit. Yes. Do you remember that Disney collection that came out for pretty much all consoles, if I'm not mistaken, that featured the Mega Drive versions of Aladdin? Along with, like, I think there was the Game Boy version in there and a few others, but it did not include the Capcom Super Nintendo version. And you also had a Lion King on there, and the various Game Boy ports and Master System ports, what have you. Super Nintendo port of Lion King as well, if I'm not mistaken. Well, the big confusing part of that was the fact that, it didn't have the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin on there. One of the most go-to arguments for retro gamers to fight between is it the Super Nintendo or is it the Mega Drive or Genesis for the Americans watching version, which is the better one? For me, obviously, it's the Genesis Mega Drive version, which is the best. Definitely. Well,
it's got a sword.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're re-releasing that collection only, I want to say, like a year later. It's really not that much longer. And it's finally including that Super Nintendo version and all of the various versions of the Jungle Book as well.
Yeah, so interesting move. They've gone ahead and they've put all of the ROMs, all of the different platform ROMs. So they've actually made it, before the last time we spoke about this, we kind of criticised this move because it just looked like they were adding the Jungle Book, and nobody cares about the Jungle Book game. Let's be honest. Not when you're talking about
it's a good
Aladdin
game
and Lion King.
It's still a good game. Yeah.
It's proto Aladdin, isn't it? It's the first time they tried that Disney animation style on the console, and then they went and made a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
It was the prototype before all of that. But I feel like they've actually done it a bit of justice here. And just to point out as well, so people who own the original Disney Classic Collection,
as I do,
will be able to get this as DLC for $9.99.
Is that what it is? $9.99.
Yeah, which is a little bit, little bit cheeky, because I'm sure this collection will cost just as much as the old collection did. But
well, no, my prediction is now. These are Disney games, like I can't imagine getting these games onto a collection is going to be the easiest thing to do. I know on the back end, I can't say which companies and that I've dealt with, but I know companies that have tried to do this, and it has been extremely hard to the point where it just didn't go ahead. Yeah, I mean, hey, we've got the most iconic, besides the Castle of Illusion series, 16-bit games here on one collection. Now, my prediction is, obviously you got the Capcom with the people that made the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin. There was a rights issue that they were going up against, and I imagine this was just sitting there for so long. Like, come on, we've got to get this out, and they finally put this out without that added because they weren't sure if they were going to get it, or they were doing that to prove to Capcom, look, hey, this is going to sell. Give it to us.
Yeah.
Hey, we can get Jungle Book. Throw that in there too. Now,
I get the impression that it's not really up to Capcom as such. Maybe they had to do a bit of back ends, rights management. But have you noticed that the Capcom logo doesn't appear to be anywhere on that box?
That's very true.
So it leads me to believe that this is like partially like the Disney licensing wing doing all of the work here, and maybe they're using the archival copies there. But it is weird that we are seeing a Capcom game on a product that's full of Virgin releases.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
It's an odd one. And I mean, I'm really glad it's happened because there's quite a few companies that have done these redeveloped versions of these games. I mean, I Am 8-Bit are the main one. They did that £100 ridiculous version of what did they do? They did the Lion King and Mega Drive version of Aladdin, but you never really saw, like you say, that Capcom version come back. It was quite a bizarre one. But then you did manage to see other collection series come out of like DuckTales and stuff like that, which they also did. So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see that this has finally happened. I do hope Disney don't go down the route of just constantly pumping this out now every single year like some companies do of their retro games, because it's going to completely devalue it. And I don't mean that in the money ways. I mean that people just won't care about it anymore because it's just constantly always out. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Like I say, it very much looked like even back then that this was going to be the start of a series, and I really, really hope that happens. I want to see a collection of the classic Castle of Illusion, Land of Illusion, those sort of games. I saw someone mention there. I always say it wrong. Mayo Mallard game as well.
Maui Mallard. Yeah.
Mallard. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, you had things like Quackshot. Pinocchio is an absolute hidden gem when you look at classic Disney games. No one talks about that very late in the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Pinocchio, Pocahontas, and all of those old 16-bit games. I'd be up for that, like the Disney movie collection, then the Disney Illusion collection.
Oh,
yes, that needs to happen.
And I want them to put the third Epic Mickey game, because that was technically a cross between Epic Mickey and the World of Illusion series, and it works. It works.
I think we'll keep saying this till we're blue in the face, but those games need to be re-aired and just put on a massive collection in a treasure chest, collector's edition, with all of the stuff. I will buy all of the stuff.
I will be buying this physically again, which is a stupid thing to do because, like I say, I own 2/3 of what's on here already. Well, no, half of what's on here already. They are adding 2 games, I suppose, 2 sets of games. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's going to be coming with all of those extras, that's the big selling point for me. I don't know if many people know this, but I am... I really do want to write a book one day all about the history of Disney video games, leading up to when they stopped making games themselves and just started dishing them out like Guardians of the Galaxy to Square Enix. And obviously when it comes down to Lion King and Aladdin, they're huge sections of Disney's classic history when it comes down to video games and the Renaissance period. I mean, this is these are the most iconic games outside of the Illusion series from Disney's back catalogue, if you ask me. So yeah, they're in a nice little collection. This is what it should have always been. If this is the same price as the old one, they should be giving that DLC away for free. And I suppose the other question would be is that DLC, is it just going to be the fact that you get Jungle Book and the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin, or are you going to be getting all these extras in there as well? Who knows?
I believe it's all of the extras. It's just that's what leads it to believe like it's not so much a game release. It's literally the addition of the game. This is the Super Street Fighter 2 version of this collection.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael Towns made a good point there. Let's not forget Toy Story. I rented Toy Story and I played that through. I thought that was freaking awesome. It's definitely aged. It's not the greatest game to play now, but my God, did I love that game back in the day. And my all-time favourite is Mickey Mania. And as we all know from the channel Game Hut, which is run by one of the people at Traveller's Tales that worked on that game, there was a Mickey Mania 2 in the works, which sadly never came to be, which I would have loved. Mickey Mania is generally one of my favourite games of all time. I adore that game. My favourite Disney game, bar none. There's so much more they could add to a second collection of these games, and even possibly a third volume as well.
You could put in Little Mermaid into this as well. Beauty and the Beast for the Super Nintendo.
I always remember those games not being good, though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. They certainly weren't up to this standard, but you know, some people might like them.
But the fact that this collection have the Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, and Game Boy Advance, sorry, the original Game Boy and Game Gear versions on there as well. It's as a Disney fan, so great to have them as a collection. It's like, I would adore the fact that we would be able to get things like even like the NES version of Little Mermaid and stuff like that. I think that would be so good.
That'd be cool.
It would be so good. Just for someone like me, for a historic point of view, I think it would be fantastic. So but yeah, that's happening. And moving on, let's chat about something that I know you're very excited about, Grizzly.
Yes, because I love it when bad business practices get punished. Right, so the UK, good old Blighty, has turned around and said, no, you will not do those microtransactions in the way you are doing now. And in typical UK fashion, they half-arse it. So they've turned around and said, right, so have you ever got onto one of those mobile apps? You're playing a game that has microtransactions in there, and suddenly you get a pop-up saying, this is the best offer you'll get today. You only have 30 seconds before this offer runs out. Please buy our gems so you can buy more digital goodies that don't really do anything other than prolong your enjoyment of this experience until we ask for more money. The ASA have basically turned around to the app developers and said, right, can you knock that off, please? So you're not allowed to do any more best value notifications, and you're not allowed to do timed promotions or, you know, advertise them as timed promotions and pressure people into buying those microtransactions. Such a welcome move. Not quite as strong as I hoped it would be, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yes. So my son's got a tablet, and we pay like a monthly fee to Amazon. It's like £1. It's like nothing, and he gets all of the obvious games, your Angry Birds and your Cut the Rope and stuff like that, and all of the microtransactions are taken out. When we're like, you know, in a queue for a ride at a theme park or waiting at a restaurant or whatever else, and he's like, oh, can I play a game on your phone? I freak out, and my eyes are just like this, staring at him, because he doesn't realise what he's clicking so fast, and he's playing something like the Sum Sum game, which is essentially a connect the dots but with Disney character faces. And at the end, do you want to pay £1.99 to continue for 10 seconds? I'm like, no, stop, don't touch anything, and I freak out.
Yeah.
This sort of stuff, like I say, hardcore use of the phrase here, nothing but a good thing. Get this stuff stopped. There needs to be, I understand companies, you know, make money from this, and I'm all for companies making money, not from this particularly, but at least having like a line they don't cross. But yeah, I mean, it goes absurdly ridiculous. It really, really does.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't got much to say if I'm honest. It's everybody.
I'll just add in the fun little snippet about the thumbnail choice for this was Dungeon Keeper. If anybody remembers what that game was like on mobile, you would have been met with the Horned Devil saying, right, okay, well, it kind of sucks that this game has stopped, but maybe you'll just pay some extra money just to make it go again. And that's essentially the translation of every phrase that thing says to you, and he's tenacious.
Yeah.
He will make you go back. He will make you spend money. And I got that's the game that kind of went, right, okay, I'm not playing mobile games anymore because this is getting ridiculous. And the last time I went into a mobile game, it was exactly the same story, if not just worse, because every 5 seconds there was a new advert, and the price that you would pay to unlock the full game these days is far too much, as opposed to the microtransactions. They know exactly what they're doing. And
they do know what they're doing, and you know, I mean, I've got to put my business hat on here a little bit. It's really tough. It's really tough. Because it's very easy, and I'm seeing everybody in the comments. And don't get me wrong, I would love to live in a world where microtransactions are not a thing. But it's very easy for us all to say, I wish they would just do a £5 version of the game. I'd rather pay that than have to go through all of the ads. 99.999% of the time when they do that, one, they don't sell very well, the £5.99 version or the £1.99 version, whatever it is, because people just want to get the free version and sit through the ads. And secondly, like, the absurd amount of money they make from you looking at adverts as opposed to you paying £5.99 just makes it just complete. When you put both of those things together, why would you as a company ever want to do that £5.99 version? Like I said, there needs to be a balance. I think, as much as I don't like it, and like I say, I wish I lived in a world where microtransactions are not a thing. I think it's a little bit unbelievable just to say, just get rid of them. Just get rid of them.
Yeah.
There needs to be a middle ground somewhere where it works for both parties, because at the end of the day, this device I've got right here is so incredibly powerful. There's some insanely incredible game developers out there that can make insanely incredible things, but it's these microtransactions that go so far beyond what they ever should that stops people like you and me ever going on that device to actually go and find them. They're a perfect example. It's the Space Invaders collection, Invincible collection, I think it's called, for the Nintendo Switch. That game on there has an Space Invaders versus Arkanoid game, and that is a carbon copy of a game that's already on the mobile phone. It's literally exactly the same, because you use your finger to move the little Arkanoid thing around, and you have to bounce and hit the Space Invaders. It's utterly fantastic. It sold okay on here. But it was a game that you had to pay outright for, like a tenner or something. And I absolutely guarantee they would have made potentially millions more if they'd done it as an advert thing. And it wasn't until it came to the Switch where people started realising, wow, this is a bloody awesome game. This is an amazing game. Because I remember when I did my Space Invaders weird crossover video, trying to find people that were reviewing the mobile phone version, there was almost no one there. Now the Space Invaders Invincible collection, everyone's talking about it. So it's really tough from a game company's point of view, and it's very easy for us to say, oh, I just wish they would just put a game on there and charge us a set amount of money, because proof is in the pudding. We don't buy them. And it's a vicious circle, because we don't buy them, so the companies are going to stop putting games on there for £5-10 because we're not buying them. They're going to keep filling up games with adverts, because that's what's making them money, and that's what, you know, we play. Then it makes us just never want to pick that what is essentially an utterly fantastic system, which should be. I mean, it's an utterly, hugely powerful, more powerful than most your handheld consoles that we all adore, little system. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Things like this are a good thing. Nothing but a good thing.
The thing that stands out for me, so there's a lot of people in the comments talking about microtransactions and whether they are necessary or not. So Clown Dad very clearly has put out microtransactions have to be a thing, and I have to agree with that. They do, because these games don't get uploaded to the Apple Store or Google Play for free. There has to be some sort of fee in there, I mean, that used to be completely supported by ads, but with so much competition on the stores these days, you have to think of other ways to generate revenue. I think my problem with microtransactions is just how transparent they are, and that is, non-transparent they are. So as soon as you boot up a game, it doesn't matter what you're playing. So I put in some 8-ball pool, the mini clip thing, the other day, and the first thing it did, without me even playing the game, was put its hand out and says, "Right, money, please."
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, I haven't even tried it yet. I don't even know if I'm going to like this.
Yeah.
See, I'm a traditionalist. If I like a game, if I like the look of a game, chances are I'm going to pay to play it, and I don't expect to be interrupted once I've done so.
Mm-hmm.
With free-to-play games, I expect there to be some sort of interruption. I do not expect an immediate handout asking for cash when they haven't earned it.
And that's where it draws the line, and it goes too far. Like, for instance, so Line are a company that make some of the more popular mobile phone games out there. Things like your Tsum Tsums. They might not sound popular in this country, but they're huge in I want to say China. I might get that wrong. But they, like I said, they did Tsum Tsums. They worked with Nintendo on, I believe they did the Mario Kart version, but they definitely did Dr. Mario. Now, I am a little bit addicted to Dr. Mario World on mobile phones, and that game is actually getting taken down. The reason why is it's not that hard of a game. You start with 10 lives, you every time you lose a life, then you have to wait half an hour for a new life to come in. We've all seen it before. But the thing with Dr. Mario is every time you pass a level, of which there is 1,400, you don't lose a life. So you can actually play for hours and hours. I can't remember the last time I played it where I ran out of lives. Because even though you may fail, you've done the last several, and you've kept your lives up so much, and unfortunately the game is going away. People that there are dedicated Reddit forums that like that game, but because Line are not making the money, they're just getting rid of it. That game's going. A Dr. Mario game is soon going to be completely off of the game market, never to be played again. The servers are getting shut down. I think it's in like October or November of this year. So I'm trying to get to where I can, and I'm like level 400 odd. And I've never put a penny in it. Never ever put a penny in it.
That is so like mobile gaming. So
it is, yeah.
I remember when like Outrun and Afterburner Climax was available on the iPhone, and then just after a certain amount of time, the game just wasn't supported anymore, and you just could not play that game anymore. Doesn't matter if you bought it. Doesn't matter if you put some money into the advertising. So I bought those games. They were. That's when iPhone games were relatively cheap. Yep. Afterburner Climax was a max $3.99, whereas the majority of other games were 59p. And that sucks, because I've bought a copy of that game. I expect to be able to play it, and no, it just wasn't compatible anymore. There's no Windows-style tricks where you can make it emulate Windows 95 or anything like that. No, just wasn't going to work anymore. Screw you, thanks for your cash.
It's really worrying because we even talked in this episode about not microtransactions. We talked about game preservation. My kids play mobile like apps. Obviously you have the obvious ones like your Angry Birds and all that sort of stuff. When they're older, if they want to be doing what I do, there's no way of preserving these games. You just literally, obviously the big ones will always be around, but that game I'm playing right now, Dr. Mario World, that's a game that is perfect for mobile phones. It's a puzzle game. It's absolutely perfect. It was, I don't think I'm struggling to think of a Nintendo game that works better for mobile phones. Like it transitions smoothly. It was a puzzle game on console. It's a puzzle game still, and in a couple of months, there's a game in that series that we will never ever ever get the chance to play again. And I think that's insane. Yeah. And from a massive company like Nintendo, featuring the most iconic video game character of all time. Goodbye. Done. It's very scary for video game preservation, and I think we're going to be seeing how bad that's going to be in years to come.
unfortunately, I can see this becoming the rule, not the exception.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. that went on a bit. I wasn't expecting that one to go on for as long as it did.
Passionate about preservation.
Passionate, yeah. Even mobile phone games. Even mobile phone games. Because at the end of the day, they're games too, and a lot of the time they are created by insanely talented developers. They're just on a platform that sadly the majority of real gamers, quote unquote, don't want to touch because of those blooming microtransactions that have soured our taste for the phone. So hopefully things like this ASA thing's going to knock that down a bit and make us realise that actually, you know what, this ain't a bad device for playing games on. Some games. We don't want to touch the screen instead of buttons. There we go. I mean, but what I'm trying to get at before we move on is the fact that, you know, like the Nintendo DS comes out and that's got a touch screen and everyone thinks it's the most incredible thing ever, but no one will ever touch this for the same reasons. It's, you know, like WarioWare would be insanely good on this system, on a mobile phone. It would work perfectly. A standalone WarioWare type game with touchscreen controls. I mean, it's all technically happened on the Nintendo DS anyway, and slightly to a degree with the Wii. But hey, unless you pay every time you go up 10 levels, it ain't going to happen, is it? What a shame. What a shame. Okay. Now, moving on to our final topic. Let's chat about Glover. Because it's coming back.
Hey! So this is a good side of game preservation. You know, Glover, the game that probably a lot of people have heard of on the N64, but have either not played it or got sick to their teeth of seeing this in second-hand shops every 5 seconds. This is what I love about game preservation. It doesn't need to be Mario. It doesn't need to be Sonic. It doesn't need to be like Crash Bandicoot or these massive names. Just about any game is game. And we are seeing a remaster for Glover coming from the excellent Pico Interactive.
Absolutely. So what you're seeing on the screen for people that are watching live rather than listening is the original N64 game. But, like you say, there is a remastered version, and here it is.
So yeah, Glover being the platform game where you play as a glove, bouncing a ball around the level, and the idea is to get from point A to point B. And I actually really enjoyed this back in the day. I think it was one of those ones that found its way underneath a lot of Christmas trees. And if I recall correctly, I'm not completely well versed in this. This is one of those games where they banked a lot of. They thought this was going to be a massive success, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I interviewed the Oliver twins on this, and I definitely got that impression. Yeah,
and weren't a few extra carts made than they really should have done.
I need
because
to check
this was everywhere. Yeah, I believe that was the case, and also there was a. So what's interesting about this? So. Pico Interactive have been talking about re-releasing this, an official N64 cartridge, similar to how they did 40 Winks on the N64 recently. But it's quite interesting because Glover already came out on the N64, so what's really different if they did re-release it? And there's actually a little known fact is that the original Glover retail release actually had a major bug. That would halt game progress in some situations, and the release that Pico Interactive have, which is an earlier or a late beta phase, actually has that bug rectified. So, in reality, if you wanted the complete finalized version of Glover, then this is the way to get that version of Glover.
Absolutely. So, I have reached out to the developers of the original Glover. And I've reached out to Pico Interactive to get a little bit more information on this. And I've got a very little bit of information to go on with this. But before I do, I want to just quickly show you guys, and for people listening, tell you guys that those people that I reached out to are the Oliver twins. Now, the Oliver twins, for people... let me remove that. For people that are fans of the Complete History series, I actually did a video based on Dizzy. Dizzy, The Complete History, who was my first true love in the mascot world before the days of Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario. I was into Dizzy, the egg-looking character, part of the Yoke folk for the old Amstrad CPC, and went on to the Mega Drive with Fantastic Dizzy and a few other places as well. And I was obsessed with that series before the days of Mega Drive took over my life. And yeah, I got to interview the Oliver twins when I created that Complete History. It was an absolute godsend. It was me giving my younger, I don't even know how old I would have been, 6 or 7 year old self a high five. It was so important to me, like, to be able to finally do that. It wasn't. I knew it wouldn't be the most successful video in the world because, hey, it's Dizzy. It's not, I don't know, Street Fighter or something, you know. But I owed it to myself to make that video, and they were very happy with it. The people that watched it were very happy with it. I was very excited. And the cool thing about it is, me and the Oliver twins have stayed close. We chat every so often, and they offered me the ability to work with them on an upcoming application called Richcast. Now, I did shout out about this, and the reason I'm talking about this is because, hey, we're talking about the Oliver twins. Let's talk about Richcast, which is something that they have, partly them and someone else as well, have produced. Now, I don't know how much I can talk about with this. I'm obviously under NDA and all that sort of stuff, but hey, they've actually started showing off trailers about all of this now, and you will see in the trailer that my mug pops up on the application. I have created, for this new type of interactive media, a quiz show, Slopes game show, and obviously it's all going to be to do with retro game, mostly retro game. There's some new stuff in there as well. I'm so excited because I spent a long time on this, guys. Long time back in the back end, in the early part of this year. So please, please, please do sign up. I'm not getting paid for this no more. This is all done and dusted. I just want this to do well for the Oliver twins. Please do go and sign up. Open link, copy link address. I'm going to be putting something right here in the chat. If you guys could sign up, even if you want to just do it as a play tester for when this thing is actually properly released, please do so. Every week they're going to be showing off a new thing that this application can do. I think I'm in week 4, but I'm one of the launch products for this system, and my God, am I excited to show you guys. Now, thankfully, that's my little stint done right there. Like I said, I can't go too in depth with it, but basically, if you like retro gaming stuff, you like what I do on my channel, I've worked with them to create an interactive experience, game show, quiz show type thing, and you guys will be able to experience that when this goes live. And if you sign up using that link there, tell them you want to be a game tester, or hey, if there's anyone out there that actually wants to create something with them, I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that too. They're very approachable fellows, and I approached them regarding Glover. There you go, I've gone back to Glover now. And I asked them to give me a little bit of information regarding this because they were one of the they were the original developers on Glover for the N64. I reached out to them, and I think it was Philip Oliver that replied. Philip had this to say: "We have talked to Pico and wished them luck. We did try to find them the source code, but I don't think we found anything useful for them. We wish them all the best recreating Glover and maybe even Glover 2, that would be awesome." So we may be getting more than just simply Glover here, guys. Who knows what went on with those conversations? Was I supposed to know that? I don't know. But hey, I've said it to the world now. Yes, so obviously, yeah, they are actually the people that worked on that original Glover. Like you said, the original source code was not sent over, but as you stated there, Grizzly, they are using the original, an early beta, which fixes one of the earlier bugs found in the released version, and they're working from that by the sounds of it. I also reached out to Pico, the people that are actually doing the remaster, and they had this to say. We will be doing, it's very short, but I'll go here. We will be doing a re-release of the Nintendo 64 cartridge. I think that was pretty predictable, but hey, we've actually got proof of that now. A Nintendo 64 cartridge, which will include the remastered version for PC. So that's how you're going to be getting it. So N64 version will be the original N64 version, hopefully with that bug fixed, and then it's also going to include that PC version of the remastered version, which will also be working. Oh, and we will also be working on a port of the remastered version for current gen as well. So hey, Glover, I think is pretty fair to say coming to the Switch.
Yay!
Hey. And all
coming
other
home.
systems as well. Coming home. There you go. How's that for you?
Yeah, I think that was all right. Yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
I don't know where that voice came from.
You doing an impression of me?
It's like a bastardized version of Larry and you.
There
which
it is.
Also happens to be the same person.
Exactly. So yeah, let me know, guys. I mean, are there any Glover fans in the house? I actually didn't give it a lot of time back in the day. I mean, I didn't have an N64, and I know there was the PlayStation version as well. And from what I hear, the PlayStation version wasn't as good. Not as good from what I remember.
It was all right. It was just one of those games that just kind of was
existed. Like Spider,
you know,
that's always one I go to. That was one of those games that existed. I always remember.
You know, it's one of those games that were always reviewed quite, it was just average. It just came up as average. But if you played it now, I'm sure there'll be a lot of charm to be found here. Because when you're back in the day, you've played Mario, you've played Banjo-Kazooie, and then you look at Glover and you go, no thanks. Because it's very basic. It's basic looking compared.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like you had the massive first-person craze of the 360 era, you had the 2D craze of the 16-bit era, and obviously this is a victim of the 3D platforming craze of the PlayStation 1, N64, and even moving into like your PlayStation 2 Dreamcast era. There was more than a ton to choose from. 99% of the time, you're going to go to the obvious games, your Mario 64, your Banjo and Kazooies, for PlayStation owners, Crash Bandicoot Croc, and those sort of things. Glover was another one. It wasn't the best, but in actual fact, when you go back, you realise that the game has actually got quite a lot of charm. And when you compare it, even to things like Croc that done quite well back in the day, I would actually go as far as saying that this is actually more retrospectively remembered. It gets brought up like a lot, this game, and now's the chance to go and check it out with this remaster coming out, and hopefully ports coming out later down the line for current gen systems. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's nice to see that Glover will find an audience amongst new people. No, it's not good. It will have a very niche audience and remain niche, but I'm sure people will get a kick out of it.
Yeah, Glover for Smash.
Now, there's a game I'd love to see come back, Michael. Thank you. Space Station Silicon Valley. I'd love to see that being re-released. But you are talking about DMA Designs there, which it happens to be Rockstar.
Yeah.
So probably not going to happen.
Probably not going to happen. So yeah, there we go, guys. I think we've reached the end of the podcast. That one went on for a little bit, actually. I think we got a little bit ahead of ourselves with the moving on to all those microtransactions, chit chat, and all that. What the hell was Nintendo doing by adding Chris Pratt as the voice of Mario?
Well, we've been away for a little while. It's good to give the people a bumper episode. So
give them what they want.
Give them what they want.
Absolutely. And Acorn Electron, thank you so much for gifting Mr. Top Hat Gaming Man there a sub. What a legend. But
Chris
guys,
Pratt for the voice of Glover.
Guys, we're going to end it there, and let's roll the outro. Thank you all so much. Thanks for listening to SLOPESCAST, the retro gaming news show with myself, DJ Slope, and my co-host, Grizzly Crichton, recorded live on Twitch every single Tuesday night. If you want to listen in live, then make your way over to twitch.tv/Slopes Game Room at 9 PM UK time, 1 PM Pacific Standard Time, and 4 PM Eastern Standard Time. And as stated, if you want to be in a chance to be on a future episode, then please do consider supporting the show on Patreon or as a YouTube member. And finally, finally, if you do have any news stories for us, then please do feel free to drop them in the dedicated rooms over on Discord at discord.gg/Slopes Game Room. And until next time, guys, this is DJ Slopes signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Thanks for listening to... And there you have it, guys. Thank you all. I'm loving that this is building up every single week. We're starting to get a nice little group over on YouTube, on Extra Slope. And as
YouTube
always...
crew.
Yes, the YouTube crew. And obviously over on Twitch as well. So thank you all so much. I do enjoy this. I do enjoy this. It's cool, isn't it?
And we'll promise not to be gone so long next time, even though it's only a week. It still feels like it's been really long.
For sure. So yes, like I say, the last couple of months we didn't go up on the podcast services, but they will be back. They'll be back, primarily from this one onwards. And yeah, guys, I think that was pretty cool stuff. So this is the after hours of SLOPESCAST, I suppose. What have you been up to, Grizzly?
Well,
Mate,
we've been over that one. I did get a new TV though.
4K.
So I've been it is. I've been renovating the Grizzlies game room. Not trying to steal anyone's thunder. But yes, I have a LG OLED C1 sat right next to me now, and my PS5 is now hooked up to it, and it's going to be there permanently. So this is becoming my my gaming / recording room. So yes, very nice.
Vitas Varnes, first stream I was able to catch. Vitas, can you tell me, was you the person that did that thing on Steam? I'm not going to say if you was, in case it wasn't you. I accepted it, and then I realised after I accepted it, I couldn't see who the person was that sent it. So I was like, oh no, but I think it was you. Yeah, welcome for coming along, mate. And Michael Towns, is it Michael Towns? Sorry, Chevmatic said that he's missed 95% of the SLOPESCAST. Well, it's going to be available on all those podcast services, and you'll be able to watch it back on YouTube and even Twitch for a little bit. Yeah, what's going on there, mate? Yeah. What's going on?
Slacking. Or not slacking enough, because usually you listen to it while you're at work, don't you?
Yeah, naughty boy. I this week have been a busy boy. As stated, Castlevania Advanced Collection, you got something for that coming up. Kick Scammer News is coming back. Hopefully, if I can get it finished in time, in 2 days' time, like literally Thursday, I want to get that out. Last day of the month, I think that'll be a great day to release that. And I also have Fist that has finally come through, the physical edition from China. Is that behind me? No, it's in the other room. I haven't actually started playing it yet, because I've also been playing Super Monkey Ball, the new one, which I can't talk about. I'm under NDA and all that, and I can't talk about that until the embargo is lifted, but I can tell you at least that I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to be doing a little video on that as well. Busy week for me. Busy week. So,
yeah.
Oh, yes, and as Goat King said, I've also been working on Daytona, the complete history. It's so funny because like my wife's not into gaming stuff at all, and we went out for a meal tonight before we came onto the podcast, and I was saying, so these are the topics I'm going to be talking about, and she was like, oh God, please don't talk to me about it. She couldn't care less. Poor woman having to deal with me. And unfortunately for her, I showed this is the music from Daytona USA, and what they had to do is it wasn't just like, an MP3 playing. They actually used his samples, like his Daytona, and they just loop that. And I was explaining how they made the song, and she has had to listen to that and Rolling Start like on loop for weeks while I work on that Daytona USA complete history. I do feel for her. So it's been a tough week. We've had a few people go, but my wife has had it bad as well. Having to listen to Daytona USA and all of this nerdy stuff I talk about on podcasts. So, much love. Much love.
Blue skies.
Oh, I know. My God. To be fair, I've heard it a lot. A lot.
Oh, man. You know, if the complete history of Daytona was just those songs repeated, I'd be happy. But, you know, I'm sure it's going to be a great video.
Yeah, I'm really pushing myself. Like I remember in a Q&A just before I started, or I think as I was starting YouTube around about then, from one of my favourite creators, Lazy Game Reviews, and he basically said that you should always try and do something new every few videos or so to try and, you know, push yourself as a creator, whether that's, you know, doing something different with your microphone, doing something with your lighting or your editing or whatever it is. And over the last year or so, and I think the real turning point, not necessarily, I suppose the real turning point was maybe the redo version of Streets of Rage, and it really went into overdrive with things like the Castlevania Complete History. But I'm really pushing hard with the audio mixing of my videos to the point where I think, like, basically when I used to do them, I would record all my lines and then I would put all of video game music over the top, and that would take an afternoon, maybe a little bit longer if it was a bigger video. But the Daytona USA Complete History, that took me almost 3 days just to do the audio. And it's not any longer than a standard Complete History for me, maybe like 30-40 minutes, because I'm really pushing to add a few little remixes, as Goat King says there, a few little ways where I can beat match the music together, the way I can make it go down on the drop of a joke before the the punchline comes in, that sort of stuff. And I think I'm going to be able to start releasing them as audio podcasts as well, like audiobooks, like an Audible type thing, as well as video cast as well. I think I'm nearly there. I'm really proud of the way it's going. It takes longer to make, hence why sometimes there's a bit of a gap between videos nowadays, but I think it's for the greater good.
Yeah,
that's what I've been doing.
I think that'll go down real well. What do you think, guys?
What do you think? Do you think better content is better for you? I'm sure you do.
I'm sure they all do, yeah.
And like I said, guys, as well, earlier on in the year, I was working with the Oliver Twins on their application, Richcast. It really is something very new. It's something that is going to do, hopefully, very well. The only thing that's going to let it down is if, like, marketing doesn't push it to people enough. But the idea of this thing is going to be, it's so awesome. And it's got so many different possibilities. They've been talking to some incredible different content creators, not just within the world of YouTube, but I mean talking across the board. And the stuff people are making on it is so awesome. I've really put myself out there to create a really good interactive experience. At the time of making that, no one else was doing it the way I was doing it, so I really felt like I brought something unique to the table. And I really want you guys to play it. It's at the edge of the cliff, ready to jump down and show you guys what it's able to do. So please do sign up. I'm not getting paid to ask you to do that. There's no more commission or anything like that to me, whether you play it or not. I just want people to be able to experience it. So please do keep an eye on what Richcast are doing, whether you do that on social media or signing up as an early beta tester, whatever you want to do. I'm very, very, very excited about it. I want to put my screen on full screen and show you what I've created, but I can't. Like I'm desperate. I'm desperate to show you guys. It's really exciting stuff. Is the Richcast thing at specific times? So as in like the way we record a podcast now, like you have to come along on Thursday night? No. This is something that you will be able to experience completely. Like it's I suppose it's pre-recorded. I suppose it's a way of putting it, but it's different than any other kind of podcast or interactive thing that you've done before. It's what's that game called? Night Trap turned up to 11. So yeah, and I'm really excited to be one of the people that are going to be the first out the gate. As soon as it's released, you're going to see my ugly face right there, giving that thumbs up that I always do. So there you go. Let's see what else is going on here. In this in this SLOPESCAST, you had a story about Dreamcast and Richcast. That's right. That is a thing that happened. Wasn't planned. I've always enjoyed the editing on both the history vids and Kick Scammer ones. Great timing with audio and visual gags. Well, thank you very much, Amelia. I really appreciate that. Cheers.
I still love the Echo the Dolphin, or the dolphin that says hello you. That still gets me every time.
I remember I had to quickly go through all my old emails to try and find when Larry used to send me his audio clips, segment by segment. And I was just like, come on, he's got to say hello in it, hello you in here somewhere. And I couldn't believe it took me so long to skim through all of those emails, because I realised what he would do. He'd send me the segments and then he would make the intro. So I wouldn't have him saying hello you, because he only ever said hello you in the intro. It took me bloody ages to find that, and he wasn't answering his thing. And eventually, I think I obviously I finally found it. But yeah, I was quite happy with that. I've told the story of that video so many times. I don't know if people know what one we're talking about. What did we call it? The fucked up inspiration behind Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
And then there's me confused, like, why did it get demonetized? Come on, YouTube, play fair.
Seriously, guys, if you haven't seen that one yet, please do. It is an absolute treasure. Literally one of my favorite YouTube videos. It's a great story, and something you just absolutely wouldn't believe. And I don't mean that in a clickbait sense. I mean that in a genuinely great story.
So yeah, it's always exciting when you chat to Larry and you go, have you heard about insert gaming fact here? 99% of the time, yes, he has. And quite a lot of the time, he will say, yeah, and add something else to that gaming fact. And I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. But every so often, he doesn't know one. And that was one that he didn't know. And he's like, yes, make that video. And I remember I was going along to... I was at a fireworks night with like a family. It wasn't like a proper fireworks night. It was like one they had like a big orchestral band and stuff like that playing opera music. It was like it was a very well-to-do event. And my son, who was literally a baby at the time, it wasn't fair for him to be out late at a fireworks thing. So I took him back to a hotel and put him to bed, whilst my wife stayed with her family, because it was her side of the family, at this fireworks event. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, right, let's get this video done. And I just heavily worked through the night until she came home. And then I continued working, just watching documentaries, reading up books and all that. And I finally put all of that together. And my God, it's one of those times. And the same thing happened with the Bob's Game Kick Scammer video, where it's just like, oh my God. I remember myself getting excited as I was researching it, like, no way, that happened, and oh my God, no way that happened, and that Echo the Dolphin one, that was definitely one of those videos. It's beyond bizarre.
Yeah, especially the part about penises being stolen.
Yeah.
That's
in case you're
thing in there. That should whet some people's appetites.
Yeah. In case you're interested, guys, when I hold up the hand and he's holding something that looks like a penis, because it got chopped off. Yeah, this is all to do in the video. That is actually a censored sausage. I got a picture of a sausage, put it on there, censored the sausage, and he's holding a censored sausage. It's not a penis. And then, yeah, like I say, here I am. Why did YouTube demonetize that video? I don't know. It was a mental video. Let's look over on Slope Extra. Vitas Varnes. Yes, it was you that gifted me that game. Thank you so much, mate. Precision to Calvary. If I'm not mistaken, from what I read, this is why I knew it was you. It was a Kickstarter game that you voiced in and Ashin's voiced in, and you gifted me that game on Steam. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. He also says that Larry Bundy featured Daytona in one of his Fact Hunt videos on the same games released again as a new title. Yes, I mentioned that in the video. Here's a little interesting Daytona fact for you that I don't mention in the video because I couldn't find enough information about it. But you know how I suppose the most infamous arcade game to get unofficially upgraded was Street Fighter 2. You know, the Rainbow Edition, that sort of thing. There was also one for Daytona USA in Japanese arcades where they would add RPG elements to Daytona USA. Yes, there is an RPG version of Daytona USA out there. I just can't work out how to play it or how it works or anything about it. So it exists, but I don't know anything about it. So unfortunately, it didn't enter the video. But there's a little fact for you regarding Daytona. When did this start? I got no notification. It starts at 9 p.m. UK time every single Thursday night there, Mr. Luke Jorgensen. What was that, 1 p.m.? I always have to look this up. What is it, 1 p.m. Pacific?
Yes.
1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Luke. Great to have you here regardless, mate, and I hope you are here on time next week. I will be watching. Ultimate Joshy Washiness says, Extra Slope. I'll never forget my first SGR video back when the channel name was still your name. It was either the Kick Scammer video about RPG devs that ran away with your money or that one with Ken. Oh, Ken Whitman. Yes. Little funny story about that. So for people that don't know, there was a guy called Ken Whitman, or Whitman, he calls himself, a guy that created a Kickstarter, you know, ran out of money, as a lot of them do. But to get the extra funds, he would start another Kickstarter, you know, and then some of the extra funds can go into the original one. Then they both failed, and then he gets a third and a fourth, and it just went out of control. And I think, naughtily called the video, the Kickstarter scum that run away with your money 7 times. I can understand why he wasn't too happy about it. What was interesting about it was he's actually a very well-known extra. He was in like Walking Dead and a few others. Hey, MEK's raiding. Thank you so much. Whoa, MEK. Thank you. Oh no, let's go back to full screen. Yeah, I remember it was at a point of my YouTube life where I was like, I think I'm getting big enough now where the Kick Scammer people I talk about might actually start seeing these videos. I don't know. Like, I wasn't sure. You know, I'd never got any kind of interaction from people I'd ever done a Kick Scammer about. But this was a whole video dedicated to one person. Or no, I think I did once actually from another video. But anyway. And either the next day or within a day or something like that of the video going live, he'd become a Patreon of mine. And I did not know which way to look. I was like, this is weird. And I knew it was him because obviously I'd been researching him and it was actually his website. So it was like his email was part of the website. So I knew it was him. So I was like, what do I do here? The guy who has scammed a buck ton of people is now paying me and supporting the channel. What do I do? And I was literally lost I was clueless. I didn't know what to do. What would you have done in that situation, Grizzly?
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue, to be fair.
It's really confusing, isn't it? It's weird. Yeah. So I basically got to this point where I at first I was like, fuck it. If he wants to pay me $1 a month, let him do it. But then I realised, actually, you know what? That's not a great mindset when he's stolen or not given the rewards or however you want to look at it to thousands, I suppose, of people. Yet he's supporting me. No, that's not good. So weird, so I refunded him the $1. And I would say that was the end of that, but it wasn't, because then he contacted Patreon to try and get my Patreon shut down. Ooh, naughty. And the way he went about doing that was the fact that he didn't like the fact that I'd made a video about him, and he wanted Patreon to remove the video. I'm guessing he probably went after it on YouTube as well, but especially back then, try and get YouTube to listen to you when you're not a big channel is a very hard thing to do. Patreon, on the other hand, are not as big as YouTube, Google. So they did reply to him, and they messaged me and said, can you remove the post that links to the video? And I was like, sure. Like, I was happy just to keep the peace with, Patreon, because without being big-headed, my Patreons know who I am. They would have seen the video already. I'm more than happy to remove a post that says, go look at that video, because they already know it. You know what I mean? They've chosen to support me. They've already seen the kind of type of content I've made. Definitely have already seen the video. So yeah, sure, I'll remove a post that says go and look at a video because they've already seen it. So yeah, I removed the post, and Patreon were like so happy with me. Thank you so much for being so understanding. I went, no, it's fine. So I ended up looking like the good guy. It was so weird. It was so weird. And then I reached out to him, asked if he wanted to do an interview, and he never did. And that was the end of that. There you go. There you go. A little bit of inside knowledge for you. A little bit backstory there for you. Ultimate Joshy washiness. We didn't voice in it, just cameoed. Oh, okay, Vita. That regarding the game he was talking about, which was Procession to Cavalry. That's cool. Cool. I'm still asking Benjamin Gregg about my refund he promised for Kumo. I know he still has access to his Kickstarter messages. Oh, that was messy. So you may remember a kick scammer I did. I can't even remember what I called it, but the story behind the stolen Kickstarter game, something like that. But it was basically a game that was like Rhyme, and it included assets from either that game or another game. I don't remember it exactly. And after I did it, he contacted me and went a bit ape at me about it. And he's basically said he's going to refund everyone, but obviously he hasn't yet. Vitas Varnes. But there you go, there's that one. A little turned into a bit of a Q&A this has. Feel free to go whenever you want, by the way, Grizzly. It's up to you, mate. What else have we got here?
Oh God, Taxi Chaos! Don't bring that up, I quail.
Taxi Chaos.
Yeah.
Taxi Chaos.
Lazy Taxi, as I like to call it.
I remember I was for people who don't know, yeah, Taxi Chaos is a game that's like Crazy Taxi, but about 5% as fun. Unless you're looking to play a game with loads of glitches and just take the piss out of a game, then actually it's quite highly rated. It's not a good game. Not a good game.
No, definitely not.
Goat King asks...
It's not even... It's only ever marginally better if you put on the Offspring soundtrack in the background.
Oh, yes. But surely that works with any game, doesn't it? I want to be playing Glover with... Yeah.
2020.
Oh, so good. Yeah. So good. Day after day, you're like the wind. Mario Maker board, any new boards? Yes, my son has been working on a new Mario Maker board, so when we stream Thursday night, I will definitely boot that up and we can play some Mario Maker. For sure. Hey, Nostalgia Nerd, I prefer the Xbox 360 soundtrack. Well, you unique little snowflake, Nostalgia Nerd.
No, you don't. You're a liar.
You are so unique. And you deserve all of the pats on the back for doing so. Of course you're wrong. There is only one soundtrack, and that is the original. Although the sequel was good as well, but that also included Offspring. I don't believe High Roller did include Offspring, did it? The third one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I know it's like typical rocky, thrashy music, but I can't remember if they're on there. I don't believe they are. High Roller soundtrack. Let's have a look. Okay, let's actually type in Crazy Taxi High Roller.
As they say, nothing changes as it's all the same. It all just happens to get way down the line.
Bloody hell, there's a lot of tracks. Accept and continue. So you had the bands Dunamirus.
None the wiser.
Somebody, Pivot, Total Chaos, Pivot. The Kings of Nothing. Nothing written with a U instead of an O. 13 Cats, The Briggs, SX10, Psychic Youth. Only in a different country. Bad Religion's on there. That's good.
Yes.
Oh, and The Offspring's on there. Oh, what? This is weird.
Which one?
Oh, this seems like all of the usual. All I Want You Bad, No Breaks, Who the Hell... Oh, that's not them. But yeah, they're all the main ones. Interesting.
No Breaks is a great song choice.
No Breaks! No brakes. I was driving up the M25 listening to that literally only at the weekend. Going up to a wedding.
Americana's a perfect album. Not quite as perfect as Ixnay on the Hombre.
Oh, Luke. Patreon link? Not in the header. What is going on there? I need to fix that. Let me get you a Patreon link. If someone asks me for a Patreon link, I'm more than happy to provide them with a Patreon link.
Yes, Go King. Yes. That is the song. That is the song. Dog Police. Yeah.
You're obsessed with that tune, mate.
I was obsessed with it until you actually played it, and now I've got to think up something else.
That's it. There you go. Have a Patreon link. Oh, I might have sent it twice, actually. Whoops. Hey, why not? There you go. Who else we got? Yeah.
Yeah.
DJ, if you can't pass this board, you have to do a workout. That sounds good, Goat King. I'm all right for that. I've also got... Yeah, my weights are over there. The fact that I needed to look to see if my weights are in here shows you how little I use my weights. I don't use them a lot. Way down the line. Oh, so good, aren't they? They sold their entire back catalogue, didn't they, The Offspring?
Did they?
Yeah, I think leading up to either Days Gone By or the very latest one. Which isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, it means we're going to be getting more re-releases at anniversaries and stuff like that, like they recently did with Conspiracy of One and stuff like that. I'm a big Offspring fan. I love Offspring. I do wish they put a tad more effort into their live shows.
I only have got to see him live in 2005, 2004.
Oh wow, that was a good year.
Wasn't it, Reading? Yeah, that was a great show.
Oh wow, Reading. So
yeah.
Your voice is probably on the intro to is it Shutter? What was that name?
Ignition.
Splinter.
Yeah.
Splinter.
Yeah, Splinter is like dun 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 dun.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Yeah, I was there.
We will never lose to you. I remember I went out to America and went to a basketball game. No, I didn't. I went to a baseball game, not a basketball game. And they always have those little like jingles of like "We Will Rock You" or whatever. And they had that. We will never lose to you. When someone did a little home run, I was loving that. Sports ball game, that one. I went to go see the who did I see?
Sports.
the Chicago Sox. Is that right?
Oh yes, like Offspring are actually playing soon in Manchester.
They are, and all of the money is going to NHS.
Nice.
Yeah, the supporters.
Classy.
Yeah, good guys. I saw Offspring and AFI on the Conspiracy of One tour. Good times. Oh wow, that's super cool.
Oh, I would love to have seen them during Conspiracy of One. Just out of time on that one.
Yeah, I only saw them for the first time during the Splinter tour. I missed out on the earlier ones. I really did. I was really gutted about that. Last time I saw Offspring, they came with Blink-182 and Korn. Bloody hell, that sounds like an awesome show. Wow. That sounds awesome. Ixnay, Smash, and Americana are the ones for me. I think my favourites are... I don't know what order... I'm a huge fan of Rage. I always get the name wrong. Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace. I love that album. I think that is utterly fantastic.
You know, I've never given that one that much of a chance. To be fair, I really should.
Yeah, I absolutely adore that. Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace, Splinter, Conspiracy of One, obviously Americana, Ixnay on the Hombre. Man, they've got so many great albums. Their new one's good fun. I don't know. I feel like they're a tad old in the teeth now. Like I'm still going to support them because I think they're fucking legendary. But
I
you
like
definitely
their new album.
Yeah, I did. You just hear that they haven't got that oomph that they had, and you can hear he's not hitting the higher notes. But at this point, I feel like they're friends, and I'm just going to continue supporting them anyway. Like, I think that's such a ridiculous fanboy thing to say. They're like my friends. I've never spoken to them once in my life.
I'm just looking at their live bill, right? So imagine this bill.
Oh my God, Smash as well. Obviously, Smash is one of the best albums they've ever done. But yeah, carry on.
So they are going to Rockville Festival, and the other bands on the bill are Metallica, Nine Inch Nails, Disturbed, Rob Zombie, Deftones, Social Distortion. What a gig!
That ain't bad, is it? Social Distortion.
What a
wow.
gig.
And Luke, you absolute legend. I see you there. Yes, I do indeed owe you a shout out, mate. Thank you very, very much for the support, mate. You absolute legend. I just saw the notification came up. He has become a Patreon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciated, mate. I hope you enjoy all of the exclusive Kick Scammer episodes and the early previews of Daytona USA and the recent Bonk video that I just put out. Is it that one? No, Daytona USA Complete History is coming out soon. Kickstarter's Dating Disasters. I'll just put that up for you so you can go check that out. Butch Hartman's terrible Kickstarter, that one up there for you as well. There's others. There's others.
Look forward to that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty ridiculous one, actually. It's pretty hardcore. And finally, I have just put this video up as well, which I haven't promoted yet. That one. Little quick shot for the second channel. Does anyone know what game I'm talking about? Bonk's Forgotten Remake.
Yes, that was for the WiiWare, was it not?
It may have come out for that too. I don't believe it did.
I will investigate without looking at your video yet.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, yeah, PS2.
Killboy Powerhead from Smash still kills it. You know what, off the top of my head, I don't know how that goes. I know the album Smash back to front, so I definitely know it, but I just can't think how that one goes. Dexter is a dude too, to be fair. Oh yeah, Smash, hell yeah.
I got a real soft spot for their self-titled album. It's just
the first one.
Has anyone seen the film Idle Hands, where the Offspring actually appear in it?
They do. He rips the head off, doesn't he? And he's got his terrible acting.
Get off the stage, nerd.
It's fucking
Love it.
But like I say, like I do wish they put a little bit more effort. I know they're like punk band through and through, but by this point they're a headlining act. And I think they were on. Let me see who else was on that lineup. Download Festival, Offspring headliner. I've seen them like several times by this point, but History Download Festival. Let me see which one it was. Okay. So ignoring the fact that what you know of Lost Prophets nowadays.
No.
But Lost Prophets were headlining on the Sunday, and they did a very good job.
They did, yeah.
Let's move aside from that. Kiss. Now, I'm not a big hair metal 80s rock guy, but my God, Kiss know how to put on a show. I had to go and see him because there was just something iconic about seeing that big Kiss logo with the big lights and, like the wanna rock and roll all night. Just like really having a good time, And like I say, Kiss were there. They put on a ridiculous. I remember there was a part when Kiss were playing. It was like when bands always do that. Everyone at the front, cheer or whatever. And yeah, everyone at the back. Yo, you guys at the back look like you're having the best time. And then he stood on this fucking stupid looking axe thing, went over the whole fucking crowd, got to the back of the audience, and then played a song or two at the back of the audience, and then came back to the front again. Like, that's so cool. That's so cool. Offspring, so let me look here. So Incubus were on before then. There was Bullet for My Valentine, Biffy Clyro, and a few others. They were on the, these are the bands beforehand, and they were putting on these pretty decent shows. The higher up the lineup, they were doing more clever stuff on stage and whatever. And then the Offspring, everyone's mental size audience all waiting for the Offspring to turn up. And all of a sudden, Dexter Holland just walks on stage like, "Hey guys, how's it going? We're the Offspring," and then just starts playing as if like it's like some fucking pub band. You know, it was just like they barely had a fucking logo behind them. There was like nothing to them. I know there's something to be said for a band that just want to come out and play some music, but
yeah, the no frills approach you gotta love.
Yeah. It would be nice if they did a little something. They used to go around on tour with the guy from the Pretty Fly for a White Guy video, and he'd come out and dance during that song, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Pretty cool. There's some great lineups there. Let me share the screen with you. I really should get on, actually. I've got to do a bit of work tonight. I've got to finish off this video, but let me quickly share this. Here's the old Download Festival lineups. I missed the very first year. Iron Maiden and Audio Slave. That was originally going to be Limp Bizkit, but they pulled out.
2006, I see that lineup right there. That's the one I went to with Tool, Metallica.
Yeah, I was there.
Remember that riot?
Yeah, man. That was the year of the riot, wasn't it? They had the fire trucks out and all that, and people like jumping all over the ambulances, and it was mental. And like the
all caused by Guns N' Roses. Yep.
Yeah, the clock tower that. Not the clock tower. What am I talking about? Those towers that they have, like those guard towers that like look down and shine the lights, and we're like literally getting knocked down. Never seen that before. I went along to Linkin Park and Metallica the next year. Then you had Feeder, Black Sabbath, System of a Down. I was there. I was with the Tool one. I might have missed. No, I didn't miss. I went there. My Chemical Romance, Linkin Park, Iron Maiden. Who else was on that lineup?
Oh man, I would love to have gone to that one. I love me some Iron Maiden, as people in the Discord will know.
Yes, because I didn't watch My Chemical Romance. I went and saw Korn instead on the second stage. I was there, and I think you'll find
the first year where they actually were all there.
Yes, I remember because I saw Enter Shikari beforehand, and I didn't see Iron Maiden, and I went and saw Real Big Fish instead. I hadn't ever seen them before. Yeah.
Big Fish.
Kiss, Offspring, Lost Prophets, saw all of those guys. I went and saw those. Who was the lower end of the bill on that one?
Oh, I see those Lost Prophets off the top there.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really painful because they made good music.
Yeah, that is the sad part, right? I mean, for real, like the second and third albums were spot on. Like really good music. And then they just had a piece of shit for a singer.
Oh, Luke. Oh, mate, reading that. So basically, you're seeing Kid Rock there. Kid Rock never turned up. I was waiting for him to come on because absolute stupid music. But, you know, when you're drunk, I just wanted to go see it. It was going to be good fun.
I, you know, as much as people, right, riff on Kid Rock all the time, I have not met a man alive who does not get down to one of these two songs, American Badass and Cowboy.
American Badass!
as much as Cowboy is the most cringe-worthy song in like rock and new metal, it's got some of the best lines I've ever heard. Like, paint his wife white. Just
bloody
brilliant.
Hell.
Oh my god.
Rebel Without a Pause, I think was the album.
Cause, yeah.
Was
Rebel
it Cause?
Cause?
Cause.
Yeah.
Was that it? I thought he had like some weird Kid Rock.
Yeah.
The last track one of the tracks had Eminem on it.
Yeah. I mean, they were from the same borough, weren't they?
Oh, were they?
They were both from Detroit, yeah.
I want to look. What was the name of the last black chick, white guy? Does it mean shit? Maybe. I don't know. But yo, it never fazed me because either way, here's one tale of two like that and what prevailed. It started way back in the 8th grade in a small old town where the two both stayed. She came from a family of middle class, but everything she did, she always had to ask. He came from a place where he's so alone. The same old tale of a broken home. His mother was an alkie and more of a friend. She had 3 different kids from 3 different men. How the fuck do I remember this? I've literally not listened to this song.
I know, right? It's just like
kids from 3 different men. I've lost it now.
It's like I could probably do the same for a couple of Bloodhound Gang songs that very few people would have listened to. It's insane.
That's nuts. I remember that. I was thinking the other day, what was that track? And I haven't literally listened to that for so long. I need to find out what the lyrics went on. 3 different kids from 3 different men. And then I keep looping, came from a place that was so alone. 3 different men. And that's just the way shit was. Couldn't change it, couldn't rearrange it, so there it was. So either way. Oh, it was something like that. But yeah, anyway, the two kept on with the phone calls and notes and so on and so on.
You know what I love about Download Festival, though, is every time you look at a Download Festival lineup, it generally features a band from that early 2000s new metal era, and they just never go. They know exactly how to get their thing. So if I'm looking at like 2022's poster, it's still Kiss, Iron Maiden, and Biffy Clyro.
Right.
Deftones, Korn. It's still the old guard mixed in with a bunch of new ones. You'll find someone that you like. Even Funeral for a Friend is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Darkness. Oh man, I'd love to see.
So you got a few people here. Him had some boss songs. That I know. Bam was always a fan of the Pink Him album. I was more of a fan of that
Razor
one.
Blade Romance.
Yeah, I was more of a fan of the one that came out after that with like the Funeral of Hearts and stuff like that. I think the first.
Oh, Love Metal. Yeah.
Yeah, Love Metal. The first half of that album is fucking sublime. Like, I know it's corny and cheesy and very much of its era, but it was really good. And massive shout out as well to Skin Dread, who always know how to get the fucking place jumping.
They're playing live. I was tempted to go see them again. I've seen them about 6 times
live
I
have
now, both of which were at the same festival. 2 of which were at the same festival. The Skin Dread are just amazing. Can't fault them.
That was the year. This one I'm showing right here, I know I've got this one up for quite a bit. That was the year I met Pendulum for the first time, and I'd seen them so many times. And in fact, back when I had more hair than I do now, I can show you a picture of how ridiculous I looked when I met Pendulum.
They're back making music now, aren't they? Pendulum?
They are. I'm a little bit upset because they should have done another album. I think their albums are fucking sublime. I think they're so good. In Silico and Immersion, or whatever that third album was. But unfortunately, albums, there's no money in that anymore. It's all about making singles with like a couple of tracks, like the way singles are, and that's the route they're going down, which is a real sad thing for me. I'd much rather them actually make an album, but hey, like the microtransaction thing, you know, you got to go with what's works for you. I know they sort of fall off the radar a little bit now. It's a real shame. I was waiting so long for Pendulum to come back, and upsetting. I need to find this picture. But I met Pendulum that year, and I'd already gone around and almost followed them on their tour and saw them like so many times. And I went backstage at Download, and I actually missed. Oh wow, I've got so many pictures from that particular. Yeah, here we go. Let me move this over. So here we go. There's me with Skin Dread. There's me with Biffy Clyro. There's me with Bullet from a Valentine. Trivium. That's the guy from Busted, but he was in that other band by this point. I can't think what they're called. There's Download Dog. Fight Star. That was good. Their first track they did, Fight Star, was a good track. That's Reggie Yates from Radio 1. That was a big competition I was doing to try and become the spokesperson of Download Festival. I don't think I was really going to get it. When I'm wearing a Michael Jackson t-shirt, maybe not fitting in. As you can see, I've got the massive dreadlocks there. There's me and Hayley Williams, because the weekend before we went to Rock am Ring. And basically what happened was I went to Germany to Rock am Ring, and between leaving Germany and the next weekend was Download Festival. So basically the bands that went from Rock am Ring just went to Download. So I was basically just following the bands. I somewhere lost my wallet. I basically my mum just gave me like £100, which I'd pay her back when I went to a bank, obviously, but I'd lost my wallet. So I had this £100 spending money, which all went. And what they were doing at Download Festival is if you got like 5 paper cups, they give you £1. So every time we run out of beer money, we ran round, cleared up, got like a tenner or whatever, and went and got a load more beers. And I'd got backstage at Download Festival, and I bumped into Pendulum, and I said, "Oh guys, I've seen you guys live so many times," and they just handed me a beer, and I was like, "Fuck, how cool is that?" I didn't want to drink it; I wanted to take home and freeze it. And there it is. He was out of his face on whatever substance he was, whatever substance he was going on. But that was a good show. After that, they went and done a set outside, and it was pure like electro house styly and drum and bass, and there were so many fuck ups in their set, and everyone was just cheering him along, so everyone could see he was so out of his face. He done it in like some big inflatable battery, some Duracell battery tent they had outside. It was in like the camping area. It was hilarious. But got to meet them that time, and they got a beer from Pendulum. I'll never forget that. And then there's me with Sharon Osbourne, Korn, lead singer with Korn, Jonathan Davis.
I was about to say, how dare you?
Yeah. And Stephen Merchant, who even gave me a little stab on my phone. I was like, can you do a shout out, DJ Slope? And he goes, I really want to go home to my bed, but he won't let me. His name is DJ Slope. I'm like, thank you. So yeah, most of them from that year at Download Festival. But yeah, there you go.
You smoked. So apparently Michael has smoked a doobie with the voice of Duke Nukem.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. That's
yes.
If he was just dropping those fucking one-liners all the way through, man. I'm not a doobie smoker, but I'd probably take up a doobie for that. I went there that year. I saw Prodigy instead of Slipknot.
Tough call.
I know it is. Yeah, I saw Prodigy instead of Slipknot. I saw Korn.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen the Prodigy before. They're amazing. I would love to have seen Faith No More. I wish I went to that one.
I saw Faith No More in London in Hyde Park. They did a Barclays event. It was really weird. It was people sitting around drinking like iced tea, and Faith No More were playing. It was such a weird experience. It wasn't just Faith No More. They had like all of these other bands playing that were like, oh yeah, that was it. The headliner was Foo Fighters, and underneath you had people like Faith No More. You had
Stone Age.
Yep, Queens of Stone Age, Angels and Airwaves, and who was it? Motorhead. I'd seen Motorhead loads, and nothing against Motorhead and Lemmy, because that man is a legend. There's no getting around that. Lemmy is a legend. He's hardcore a legend. However, they never made a song better than Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades was their guaranteed floor filler, and everyone was just sitting down, drinking tea, watching or listening to Motorhead in the background, sometimes not even like looking at the stage or anything like that. It was so weird, because if you go to download it, it's just pure mosh pits. He'd done loads of songs and everything else, and every so often you do like and oh yeah, this is good, and you know, you do whatever shit. But eventually he goes, this next one's a bluesy number, and then he just done that riff, and it's like, oh, it's Ace of Spades, and every single person stood up, and it was yeah, it was ridiculous. But,
it's amazing that they can discern which of the songs was Ace of Spades, because at that point Lemmy was getting on a bit, and
yeah.
he could have been singing the Ring a Ring a Rosies for all we know, and it would have been the people would go, oh yeah, I love this one, yeah.
I did feel for him, because at the end of the day, people were there for Foo Fighters, and Foo Fighters have some brilliantly great heavy tracks, but they also attract a very chilled indie crowd, and the heavy proportion of the crowd was that chilled indie crowd. Like for instance, my wife come along. She likes Linkin Park and Foo Fighters and more of a punk rock chick, to be fair. she's not going to be going to a Slipknot concert, you know, or a heavy metal Motorhead concert or anything like that. But that was the crowd that was there, and I felt for Motorhead because, like, what were they doing there, you know?
Yeah.
And
well, it's the whole idea was, if I remember rightly, that gig was all about like Dave Grohl and all of his side projects.
Yes.
So it's like Queens of the Stone Age Probot with Motorhead, with Lemmy, and everything else he's done. Like the only thing that he didn't have there was 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, sure. Or Tenacious D. But but when he came out and he was like down, and he just stopped from there, and the place just fucking roared down, nothing. And it just came in heavy with the bass, and I was like, oh fuck yes. And it fucking erupted. But it should do. It's an absolute, it's like arguably the heavy metal anthem. Like it's up there. And as everyone has said already, ultimate Joshy Washiness, and there's a few other people. Goat King, thank you, by the way, Goat King. I think you just resubscribed 3 months. Thank you very much, mate. You rock. Cheers, mate. Thank you. You rock. R.I.P. to Lemmy, without a doubt. He is one of the absolute tent poles to heavy metal. Up there with it's just so iconic. He's such an iconic character in and out of his band. What a legend, absolute legend. Rest in peace to Lemmy. I've got some more water here. I'm losing my voice. Static X, they didn't show up that year, and that was going to be my only chance to ever see him, and I never got to see him.
Oh man,
I'm very upset about that one. What else have we got?
Right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, sorry, I'm keeping this on here, aren't I? Yeah, mate. Right. I'll let you go.
Yeah, good to see you all, and I'll see you next time.
Cool. Catch you in a bit, bud. I'm not going to stay too much longer anyway. What else have we got here? What else? Here we go. So I went there this year, and I went along with this American girl called Lily. She was going through a few drug problems over in America, and she'd come over to us, and we weren't really into that. It was more about I suppose drinking is drugs to a fair, but it was more about getting drunk and just having a good time. And it was cool. We managed to turn her around quite a bit, and but she was like the best person. She was such a great laugh. Well, she is still. And we went along to this festival because by this point I was getting free tickets to download. I invited her along, and I remember she's like, AC/DC? Why does AC/DC? You know that. And we went and watched them live, and I only really knew the greatest hits of AC/DC, in all honesty, and obviously I knew the Back in Black album through and through. But she was oh man, these are awesome. Like she started recognizing all the music because, and you should. It's fucking AC/DC, you know. I thought I heard the outro 1 hour ago. Yeah, that's right, P. Ferrer. What we do is we record the podcast, and then when it goes after it's recorded on Slope Extra, I will cut out all of the intro and all of the outro and just have the podcast left. This is just the extra stuff for the people that are around when it's live. But yeah, AC/DC were great fun. The only band ever, by the way, you'll see that there's only 1 to 5. There's only 5 bands on that first day, and that's because that's the only band I've ever seen at a festival ever to bring their own stage. It was so weird. They'd moved the stage that year. I don't think. Yeah, it was that year. It was the first time they moved it. And you went into the arena, and there was a massive stage right here, and then another massive stage right next to it of the exact same size. Nothing was going on the stage on the right as you look at it, but on the left, that was AC/DC stage, and all of these bands here, like your 36 Crazy Fierce, Killswitch Engage, Them Cooking Vultures, and Unearth, and obviously AC/DC, only played on that stage. How insane is that? They brought their own stage with them. Nuts. I once saw Linkin Park open for Chris Cornell. Can't see that again. Yeah, that's crazy, mate. Absolutely. I tell you what, Download have some insane. I have some insane memories, like one-time experiences. Like there was a time when, oh, my throat is so destroyed. I'm gonna have to go soon. when the lead singer of, who was it, Korn, wasn't able to play. He had to go to hospital as like a last minute thing due to something that had gone wrong. And instead of the rest of the band just not playing, they kept getting other members of the lineup to come in and fill in for Jonathan Davis. So you had the lead singer of, obviously, Slipknot, you had Corey Taylor, you had one of the guys from Illbleed, the lead singer from Illbleed, you had Benji from Skindred, and they'd all do one song each, and it was, I'm never going to see that again. It was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. What was the guy's name? What was the guy's name from Slipknot that recently died? The Joey Jordison, of course. I saw the year when Joey Jordison drummed for Metallica. Mental. Never going to see that again. So Clown Dad. Saw Oasis in Cardiff once, an all-day thing, and the main support was the Foo Fighters. Foos were so good, nobody cared about Oasis when they got on. Foos blew them out of the water. Foos know how to put on a good show. Foos know how to put on a good show. And like I say, they do cater for a much larger crowd than the average heavy metal band or even indie band. Yeah, they cover it all. God, they're a good band, actually, aren't they? Yeah, really, really good band. The upside down drumming was next level. Yeah, quite a few people do that. Obviously, Blink do that as well. Yeah, it's very, very good. Very, very good. I'm sure I've heard songs from all of these bands in passing, but wouldn't be able to name a song. Terrible with bands and music. I mean, I kind of need to know, because obviously I DJ'd at these festivals very often. So yeah. In fact, one of the years at Download, you'll see my mug in the actual in the program that you could buy. That's pretty cool. Let's keep going through them. Oh yeah, and obviously I saw Rage Against the Machine that year, and Aerosmith. Aerosmith was something special. It really was, because they never normally sing. What was that big number one they had? I'm singing it in my head. Just to hear you breathing from Armageddon. So while you were sleeping, away from dreaming, in this sweet surrender. I don't want to miss a thing. I had to get to the chorus to remember the name of it. I don't want to miss a thing. They don't normally sing that one, because that wasn't one that they wrote. But when they actually did play it, it was quite a magical moment, I've got to say. Like, that was arm in arm with someone next to you you don't know, people drinking, singing Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. And I was really close to the front of the stage as well. That was freaking cool. That was also the same year that, for the first time in a long time, Pop Idol or Pop Stars or whatever it was called didn't get the number one Christmas hit. It was Rage Against the Machine's what was it? Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name of. And obviously seeing Rage Against the Machine was fantastic. They never don't put a good show on. They're always great. But they were playing and they were doing all their typical tracks, you know, like bomb track and all that sort of stuff. And then they said this next song goes out to, what's his fucking name? Yeah, that's it. This next song goes out to Simon Cowell, and the place went mental, guys. Absolutely mental. Bound. It was like there wasn't anywhere that wasn't moshing for that, mate. My God. Armageddon, that's the song from Aerosmith. It was for the Armageddon soundtrack, but yeah. Yeah, it was good. Bloody hell, I'm really getting through these, aren't I? So I was there for System of a Down, Linkin Park. So that was a good one. I'm really losing them now. Was that the year? I believe it was. Okay, so I saw Pendulum instead of Def Leppard. I saw System of a Down. And by this point, as much as I absolutely adore System of a Down, by this point, as a live act, they don't really do much on stage. They were very, if you look at older footage, it makes sense. I mean, they're older guys now, but they were like, mushroom people, like jumping around, going mental. By this point, they're very much just stand there and point to the sky and sing like the heaviest of like parts of the song, but don't really move. Psycho, propane, cocaine, crazy, just not really doing anything. Yeah, they're not as exciting as they once were. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this was the year. Was it this year? It might not have been this year, actually. Let me have a look. Did Linkin Park play again? It wasn't that year. I remember Linkin Park are like one of my favourite bands, so I saw half of Linkin Park and half of Rob Zombie. I had to like cut them, and the stages were quite close. I couldn't choose. It was one of the only times I didn't know what to do. And Korn being followed by Pendulum, that was pretty awesome to see them two together. That was really, really cool. Although I've got a soft spot for Darkness, it was sad not seeing them. But yeah, Korn and Pendulum together, that was mental. Terracotta pie. Banana, 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 terracotta, banana, terracotta, terracotta pie. What a mental song. So that was a good year. Prodigy that year, obviously fantastic. Yeah, so Chasing Status, that was when they're potentially getting a bit too experimental. Like, don't get me wrong, like Chasing Status are great. I actually got a stab from them that year. I got to meet them backstage. I got to meet Chasing Status because I was DJing that year. Prodigy were obviously utterly fantastic. This is off the back of their Invaders Must Die album as well, so that was a really good year. The only thing that was annoying about the Prodigy, and they're like literally one of my favourite bands, whenever they played a metal festival, they would never play any music before Fat of the Land. Not that any of the ones that I ever went to, at least. And so they only play like, you know, your Firestarter, and like, which is obviously nothing but good music. But there was no Outer Space, there was no Fire It Up or anything like that. Or One Love, nothing like that. It was all just the heavier stuff. And if you go and see them at their own concerts, they mix that shit up all the time, and it's just so much better. Unfortunately, I mean, it works with a metal crowd, but I mean, I saw them in Germany beforehand at the Rock am Ring festival, and they were mixing that up so much. They were playing like Outer Space and all that sort of stuff. Media, when was this? So this was 2012. Yep, Tenacious D were there. They were awesome. There is nothing quite like, and I know it's the most overplayed song in Kerrang history, tribute, but there's nothing quite like singing tribute with 50, 60, 70,000 other people, however many people were there at the same time. And that part where it's like, rock on, and everyone's singing it. There's something seriously special about that. And yeah, they're a joke band, but they're so much fun to see live. Alice Cooper was fun to watch. I remember I did see Alice Cooper once, and I didn't see the whole set. One thing I remember, was it that year? I'm sure Slash played another year, because I wouldn't have seen Slash instead of Prodigy. But I remember seeing Slash one year. And one of the craziest things about seeing Slash was that Slash doesn't sound like what he looks like. You know, he's this big, dark skin, massive hair, big hat, leather, you know, hanging down of his guitar. You're expecting this bit of a yeah sort of voice. But in actual fact, he sounds more like Lady Decade. And this next song is really, and the fuck? It's just because you never hear him. It was really bizarre. Really bizarre. Hello, you. Yeah, it was really bizarre. Really bizarre. That was a good year. I don't remember the Sunday at all. I must have been off my face. I don't know if I saw anyone on that Sunday. Yes, I did. I saw Black Sabbath. What the fuck am I talking about? Of course I saw Black Sabbath. Yes, I saw Black Sabbath. And Metallica, they performed the Black Album from beginning to end without skipping. That was their little thing that they started doing. Because Metallica, it was a bit of a joke that they would just always be at Download Festival. They even had secret bands, and the secret band ended up being Metallica. Like, my God, they're always there. And yeah, they performed the Black Album from beginning to end. So that was pretty cool. Nightwish, yes, mate. Nightwish. I think that was Nightwish after that earlier singer had left the band, but I really liked their newer singer they had as well, you know, with the Bye Bye Beautiful. I think they were pretty good. Dun 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 dun. That was good, wasn't it? Oh mate, I need to listen to some Nightwish now. That album is really good. Once. Finally the hills are without eyes they are. That was a good album. Yeah, I mean, that was a good year. System. That was the year we went that year. Did I go that year? Yeah, I definitely went. Yes, I definitely went that year, because that was the year they messed around with the wristbands. So I had entertainment wristbands, and the entertainment wristbands which basically gave you access to like the they call it the RIP, but the VIP section. But it was like not the highest rank. You couldn't get on stage, but most of the guards didn't know that. So I managed to get on stage, and bloody hell, who's raiding me now? Hey, let's give it a raid. Let's give it a raid. Thank you. Oh, it's Zypho. Zypho is raiding with 48 people. Hey, raiders. Good to see you here, guys. We've got an AMS raid. Yes, thank you, guys. Thank you. For people out there that want to know what the fuck we're doing, we did a stream on a podcast so long ago, and now we're looking through the Download Festival lineup, because I've been to many Download Festivals and DJ'd many Download Festivals, and yeah, we're just looking through and reminiscing on the good times. So if you've come from Zypho and you've been listening to all that heavy rock, join us and chat with us about classic heavy metal lineups at Download Festival. And right now we're looking at the year I managed to sneak on stage and watch Korn perform live from the side of the stage, and we got to see all of the Slipknot drum kits and all that sort of stuff set up. It was fucking awesome. But without a doubt, the best part of that entire weekend was the fact that me and my mate Ben, we both had these entertainment wristbands on because he was like my plus one. We walked in front of the stage, like in front of the crowd. We weren't spotted by any of the security guards there. We were holding our hand up because everyone had to show that they had the right wristband on, and we was doing that. But at the same time, our arm was covered by like a jumper, and they weren't looking. And we walked all the way down the center from the main stage to that middle like sound booth stage that's further back. Got on there, walked all the way up to the very top, and we watched Rammstein from the most perfect view. Right there on that center sound stage on the top level, watching Rammstein from there. I am never, ever, ever going to be able to watch Rammstein as well as I did on that one time. It was freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. I once had to DJ at Bloodstock Festival in the main tent. Was absolutely wow, Zypho, that's so cool, mate. We got that thing going on there, man. I never went to Bloodstock. It was a real shame. They had some great people on their lineups. Been to both Download and Bloodstock. Love the atmosphere at Bloodstock. Especially really friendly there, I find. Yeah, I know that was more of the true metal crowd, if you want to label it, over at Bloodstock. Download was the slightly more commercial version, which would have more, like, you're not going to be seeing, I don't know, Linkin Park or Pendulum. Oh no, I think they did have Pendulum, didn't they? You're not going to see bands like, I'm trying to think of that really corny punk rock bands that did Girls All the Bad Guys. Bowling for Fish. You're not going to see Bowling for Fish at Bloodstock, but you will see him at Download. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was utterly unreal. Seeing Rammstein from there, I'm never going to get that experience again. Yep, there you go. That was a good one. Let's keep going through. I'm enjoying this. And hey, everyone, thanks for joining in. This was a good year. I'm a big fan of Linkin Park, and this was potentially the best time I ever saw them. And I got to meet them as well, like before they went live. Yeah, definitely before. Yeah. They played Hybrid Theory from beginning to end, and wow, it was mind-blowing experience. Being able to, because basically after Reanimation came out, the last track, which I'm forgetting the name of, from Hybrid Theory, trying to think how it goes. I lied to you the same way that I always do. Being with you, was it? Falls apart. The sacrifice. Basically, they always played the Reanimation version, but here they played the original all the way through. And even Mr. Hahn had that little like breakbeaty hip hop thing, like the whole album perfectly done. It was and then after that they done loads of other stuff, Meteora, Minutes to Midnight, all that sort of stuff. So it was. And I actually think, and massive respect to Chester. He was an incredible vocalist. But I as much as I'm a huge fan of Linkin Park, I hated that last album with a passion. I really, really didn't like it. I'll try and listen to it a few more times, but I really didn't like that last album. And this was all of their material up to that album. So thankfully we didn't get to hear that. It was just a great time to see him live. I saw The Offspring, of course. I believe I watched Aerosmith. I can't remember. I may have seen. No, I saw Aerosmith over Trivium. Definitely. Rob Zombie's never going to be a bad show. Saw Ghost in Sheffield a few years back. Oh, wow, that's awesome. I love the show Rob Zombie puts on, but Jesus, he can't sing live. He's more out of breath than me after running up the stairs. Yeah, he's definitely Hollywood nowadays, isn't he? Was listening to some White Zombie the other day in the car on the way up the M25. It was, that's a fucking good album. My God. Talking about Bowling for Soup, they actually I was really impressed with them. They I know they're like corny as corny can get. So they did this hilarious thing where they played one of their tracks. I think it was probably Girls All the Bad Guys Want, like their main one. And they do that thing where they get halfway through the song, and it gets to the end, and they get ready for the big drop, but it goes into the chorus after the bridge, and as it goes, it just stops. And then they played this like weird sort of like ice cream van music. It was like, it's picture time, or something like that. And they just go around and they pose with everyone for like 2 minutes, and then they go back in and carry on playing the song. And I just thought that was freaking hilarious. They're like absolutely such a stupid band, and I thought that was just so funny of them. I got a lot of respect for them after seeing that. And you know what? I didn't see Aerosmith this year. I saw Zebrahead. They prefer to be called Zebrahead, not Zebrahead. Zebrahead, because that was like one of the smallest tents they had there, and I've got a proper soft spot for Zebrahead. I think they're fucking awesome. And yeah, I'd seen Trivium about 15 times by that point already. Luke saying about Chester, listening to the lyrics. There he goes to a concert and everyone is cheering him on. I just can't take it anymore. It was sad, seriously sad day when anyone goes. But big fan of Linkin Park. I really, really do hope that band continue on making music, but there's nothing yet, is there, from my knowledge? Hopefully they do some more stuff. I know Prodigy are back in the studio. Yeah. The VIP ticket at Ozfest in 2005. Watched Rob Zombie put on a good show. not as good as Iron Maiden, but I mean, Maiden always great fun to watch. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of Maiden. I'm very much a greatest hits sort of guy when it comes to Maiden. I like them. Obviously, they're well deserving of all their respect. It's just, you know, they never caught me as much as other classic bands. But yeah, there you go. And I know a lot of people like Opeth, but I've never really been the biggest fan of Opeth. Well, we're getting through them now. I was there that year. It might have been the year I missed, actually. No, I was there because I remember seeing Muse, actually. This may have been the year I heard Slash talk. It's got such a cute, quiet voice. I didn't see Muse. Do you know who I saw here? And Muse are a good band, but I went and saw Andrew WK. I was so drunk, and it was the best time. I had so much fun watching Andrew WK. It was so much fun. Slipknot were awesome. They always are. Who else was on there? Lacuna Coil. Mode Step put a good show on. I did indeed party hard. Man, I've got no voice. I'm going to have to go soon. Ran it. It was crazy because he done loads of tracks. And I think he did like he had his little piano, ding, ding, ding. Oh, it's so much. That man knows how to rock out, and it's pure cheese music. But I tell you what, when he goes, when it's time to party, we all party hard, and everyone just went fucking ape shit. It was so much fun, so much fun. It's borderline crap music, but it's so good at the same time. Every so often, you have to let your hair down. You have to just let yourself go and listen to rubbish like that, and you're always guaranteed a good time. I've seen Andrew WK2 Phenomenal live show. Oh man, Shovel, mate, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. It's so much fun, mate. So much fun. I caught Andrew WK on his first UK tour when he was getting booed and bottled at every gig. By the end of the show, everyone was going mental and loved him. Never seen anyone turn around a hostile crowd like him. Mate, yeah, Andrew WK knows how to do it. Like, I don't know what it is about him, because any rocker, real rocker, whatever you want to call him, knows his music's rubbish, but everyone loves him. Everyone loves him. He's so good. I do remember another example like the one you just said there, Zypho, mate. I went to Reading one year, and Good Charlotte were playing, and at the time Good Charlotte were looked at, I don't know how people see them nowadays, but at the time people looked at Good Charlotte as they were too poppy. Before like Simple Plan come along, they were like the bands, oh come on, like, yeah, you can go and listen to Blink or Offspring or Green Day or whatever, but like then Good Charlotte come along, and it was almost a bit too commercialized, and they were heavily booed. And I remember so many people were throwing bottles at them, like crazy amounts of people were throwing bottles at them, and they turned the crowd around like no one's business, and they just kept doing this thing where they kept trying to jump up and hit the bottles with the guitar, and it was getting people cheering. And then they done this thing, it was like, everyone stop throwing bottles, what I want you to do on the drop, everyone throw their bottles. And they done it, and they built it up. It was probably what was that main song they did, see it on TV, I read it in a magazine, on the Hard Lives one, or whatever it's called. Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous, and yeah, on the drop, lifestyles, and everyone threw their bottle, and the whole place just turned into a mosh pit. Everyone was having great fun. Again, another cheesy band, but they turned it around and then some. And you've got to give respect where respect's due, and they know how to do it. And yeah, I always remember that, and you know, ever since then, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to give them more the time of the day, and they were good. Lifestyle of the rich and the famous. Who was supporting Lost Prophets? You know, I'm going to show you another embarrassing thing here in a minute. I've got a folder on my Facebook. I haven't updated it in forever, but let me try and find it. All my posters. Here we go. Yeah, here it is. Oh my god. Thankfully, my name isn't on there. Oh, mate. Oh, my name isn't on this one either. Okay, that's good. So this was a thing, a flyer for an event I used to do in Maidstone, where I DJ'd with none other than this dude right here. Yep. Ian Watkins. I even gave him a mixtape. There, mate, check me out. Check me out. Mental. Ugh. Horrible. We're getting through these now, aren't we? Because, yeah, I haven't been the last few years. I was there. Rammstein didn't put on as good of a show in 2016, I remember. Black Sabbath were good fun. Oh, yeah, the Black Sabbath... no, it was this year. I got to... I had the privilege. I think it was this year. It may not have been. Was it the other time? It was either this one or the other time when Black Sabbath played. I had the... It was the Lemmy stage. I'm sure it was this year. I again walked down that bit back to the sound stage in the centre, and I actually got to watch. It was only like one track because she buggered off basically, but I got to watch the beginning of the Black Sabbath set with Kelly Osbourne, which was pretty fucking surreal. My sister was obsessed with the Osbournes at the time, like the MTV show, and I called her up and said, "Oh, hey, Elizabeth, want to chat to Kelly?" And I passed it over, and it was fucking weird, man. Really weird. Man Shovel there, seeing Saxon, Napalm Death. One year I went up, it wasn't this year, it was an earlier one. I went up in the crappiest little like white panda-like car. I can't remember what it was, the exact brand. But everyone kept signing the car, like random passers-by, because I didn't think it would make it to download, so I was like, this is going to be its last journey ever. But it did make it to download, and it made it back. And yeah, Saxon signed the car, actually. It was quite ridiculous. Yeah, I remember seeing Skindred that year. I mean, I'll always go out of my way to see Skindred. They're a great band. Rammstein, Korn, always. I always feel sorry for Korn. They're never at the top of the lineup. They're always around about there, even on the second stage. Alien Ant Farm. Yes, I saw Alien Ant Farm, because I tell you what, they are more than just Smooth Criminal. They've got some fantastic songs, Alien Ant Farm. Atreo is a really good one. Disturbed are borderline a comedy band at this stage. Don't get me wrong, their music is fantastic. You know, they've got anthems and they know it. But the way they act on stage, he acts like he's some kind of messiah or god. It's so weird. My beautiful people. He's just like, oh, shut up, mate. He's like, it's like me and my mates were just drunk, like waiting for him to play like the big hits, and it was fucking funny. Like, what are you talking about? The way he acts on stage. The only Smooth Criminal is Michael Jackson, says P. Ferret. Oh, don't get me wrong, mate. No one does it as good as MJ, but Alien Ant Farm did a good version. And obviously it was their encore. Obviously it was. Didn't Saxon do the song Princess of the Night? That's a song my mum loves. Maybe, Emmy. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not great the way P. Ferrer is with names on the older groups, but probably. Sounds about right. Yes, they did, Emmy. There you go. Yes. We are getting through them now. I think that might have been the last one I went to. No, I went this year as well. Fucking hell. Yeah, I DJ'd this year. My mate Smiley Dave managed to get me down this year. Because wasn't this the year that... who was it? Crazy Town came back. I'm sure it was. Was it there? I'm sure Crazy Town were here. It was so ridiculous. Oh, maybe it was the year before. Crazy Town were one of them. And like, I know they are pure cheese on toast, but I owed it to my teenage skater boy self to go and see them. They're here somewhere. They're on one of the lower tents. Come, my lady, come, my lady. Be my butterfly, sugar, baby. They are around. I just can't see them because I got to meet them and I had a tattoo done backstage. It was either this year or the year before. I can't remember, but it was the same tattoo artist that had tattooed Lemmy and loads of other people. Let me go on full screen. Yeah, look, and that was done backstage at Download. Pretty cool. It was like, what have you got done? Oh, I went unique. I went with a skull. Thinking of adding some flames, you know, really add to the uniqueness. So Dan, is 2012 that year where you got Jack Black's voice message cameo? It was at Download Festival. I met him and he done the shout out for me, Jack Black. But it probably was that year. In all honesty, honestly, by this point, I rarely stayed around. What's going on here? Salad Snake has subscribed on Prime. Thank you, mate. Demonic 667's followed. Gangrel EU hosted. Thank you. Charlie Farr has followed. Man, I'm missing all these people. Wazok has followed. Wow, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Oh, it's all from the Zypho raid. Cheers. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. You got a shout out from Bowser. Have I forgot what I was saying? Oh, you're talking to Zypho. Oh man, I really do feel like they were there, but never mind. You know what? Basically, by this point, I hadn't seen many bands. I didn't see many bands because we'd seen them so much. We were just like hanging out and getting drunk most of the time. Because I mean, we were going to these concerts for free anyway. I definitely saw System of a Down, and that was the year I noticed like, man, they don't do a lot on stage anymore. They're still good to see because it's System of a Down music, but they just stand there. Yeah, they're definitely not the band they used to be. Prophets of Rage is obviously that collaboration band between Cypress Hill, Public Enemy, and I want to say, what's his name from Rage Against the Machine? I believe that's them. Yeah, so we saw System, Rob Zombie that year, and probably not a lot else, in all honesty. Yeah, crazy. And that may have been the last year, guys. Yeah, it was. I didn't go to the other two. Yeah, I didn't go that year. Marilyn Manson, Ozzy. I met Black Veil Brides the previous year. Dragon Force are incredibly impressive, but they did never sound as good as they do on their soundtracks. Oh, I would have seen Bad Religion if I went that year for sure. Big fan of them. Neck Deep are good fun. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't this the year Guns N' Roses were like the original lineup? Something that people never thought would ever happen. Morello, yes, thank you. Yeah, Baby Metal. I saw them. I must have missed them. They were on an earlier lineup, but oh mate, I listen to Baby Metal so much. I think they're freaking awesome. I know it's cheese, but like I tell you what, one of my all-time favorite bands, like up there in my top 3, is a group called Mad Capsule Markets. They're not around anymore, but the bassist, I'm forgetting his name. Insert Japanese name here because I can't remember it. Takeshi, no, not Takeshi Yuda. That's not obviously not. I can't remember his name. He's amazing. He's so good. And he, in my opinion, he was one of the backbone of that band. And he would do all of this absurdly weird electronic stuff. In fact, what he would do is he would have his bass guitar, and he would put it up into such a high pitch at certain parts of the song where it sounded like a like electric guitar, but he's doing it on a bass. It was freaking unreal. Look up the song Tribe by the Mad Capsule Markets, and when it gets to about the third of the way through, when the guitar solo comes in, all done on a bass guitar. It's fucking amazing. It's so cool. I know he's not the only person to have done that, but it was unreal. Paul Rammstein is on my bucket list. Mate, you have got to see Rammstein. And yes, it should be on everyone's bucket list. Like I said, when I went and saw them and I was on that sound stage watching them, I was standing next to Chavs and they were like, what the is this? They couldn't believe what they were watching. But by the end, even they were like, fair play. It's like you're watching some kind of like theatrical display that you're just no other band even slightly compares to. It's unreal, the stuff they do on stage with that fire, bang, bang, and the flames are firing out of their face like over the crowd while playing the songs. And they do all this really, really weird shit where they the keyboardist is standing on a conveyor belt, just constantly walking towards his keys, and then like it moves and he's playing over here and stuff like that, and he's wearing like a full gimp suit, and the main guy pulls him along and pulls down his little flap on the back of his like pajama-y gimp suit thing, and pulls out like this fake willy and spurts all over the crowd, and it's like, what the hell am I watching? But it's just like one of the most insane shows that you're ever going to see. Benzene, which is gasoline. They have this big gas station, like petrol pump on stage. And then there's this bit where this chav comes on stage like an Adidas hoodie, like as if he's broken on stage, and then the bang guy just fucking bursts him into flames. It's like, what the hell? One of the most amazing shows like I have ever seen. Like, the best shows aren't normally metal shows for like the stuff they do on stage, the theatricals. It's normally just like, hey, that last song was whatever. Thank you for listening. This next song is, but Rammstein, a league of their own. It's almost one of those bands, one of the only heavy metal bands I'd say it's almost worth going seating just so you can absorb it and take it all in. Unreal, absolutely unreal. P. Ferreira, I love interacting with you guys. I had to go to hospital last Tuesday because I had chest pain, so it's nice to raise my spirits coming here. Don't worry, it wasn't a heart problem in the end. Well, thank you, P. Ferreira. It's always great to have you here, and you, mate, have been one of the longest supporters of the channel. Like, I remember you coming up and saying hey to me, and I know who you was just from the comments that you left on my channel when we met up at not met up, but when you randomly came up to me in London and you knew who I was, like, mate, and I instantly recognized you. Like, you have been a huge supporter of the show for the longest time, so mwah, thank you to you, mate. Thank you. Rammstein defies sober comprehension. It's absolute bonkers what they do, and no recording does it justice. Really doesn't. It's unbelievable. They're an incredible act. Then you got Def Leppard, Slipknot, and Tool for this year. Skin Dread Lowered Down, Slash. It's like I say, it gets to a point where you've seen them all so many times. Like, you know, some are definitely worth going back to, but some bands are very much for me like, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing them. I have seen them. Yeah, they were good, and then I probably wouldn't see them again. Just go get drunk with my friends, and that's basically where we're at. And that is where we're at, guys. That was it. Yeah, they did do a mini festival last year, from what I remember. But man, I've just gone through the entire bloody download lineup. This is bloody longer than the podcast now, isn't it? Mental. I might not remove this. This is quite good fun. So, guys, look, I'll tell you what. I'm definitely going to go now. Definitely going to go. I needed to work tonight to get something finished for a video I'm working on, but I'm just going to go to bed. Do it in the morning. P for thanks, Dan. That means a lot. Some YouTubers are kind of iffy on me leaving comments on every video, so I'm glad I haven't been shadow banned, unlike a few I'm sub to. Oh, well, that's sad to hear, P Ferreira. Surely the more comments people leave, the better. You know what I mean? So yeah, mate, I appreciate your long time support, definitely. Medea, this was fun. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Thank you, going. Blue Lou, keep it going. Nice background. Well, mate, I would happily keep it going, but it is midnight, and I want to go to bed. Slopes Music Room. Yes. think we're pretty much there, aren't we? Yep, have a good one. I've got to sleep for work, says Goat King. Please keep this part of the podcast in. You know what, Ultimate Joshy? I will. This isn't the part that you're going to be listening to on the actual podcast when it goes up on the, Spotify and all that sort of stuff. But, yeah, this part will stay on. Blood it. Bugger it. I'll cut out the beginning, but I'm going to leave all this bit at the end. Yeah. Crossfaith. Hey, shout out to Paul. Crossfaith. Yeah, they, I believe the lead singer of Crossfaith, I remember I chatted to him when I DJ'd Download Festival one year, and it was weird. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Crossfaith they're a Japanese band? I am thinking of the right band, aren't I? You're an Asian band. I'm sure they are. Yeah, they done like a cover of It's an Omen by the Prodigy and stuff like that. Yeah, they came up and spoke to me. He was fucking so drunk, the lead singer of Crossfaith, when he came and spoke to me. He I can't remember what he requested, but I said to him, do you know, he requested a song that very much reminded me of the Mad Capsule Markets, with that same style. It was like a Prodigy type song. And I said to him, do you know the Mad Capsule Markets? And he said, no, never heard of them. And he was a bit iffy that I'd brought it up. I'm sorry, okay, whatever. And then he was a guest vocalist on Wag Dug Futuristic Unity's album, which is an album made up by the lead singer of Mad Capsule Markets. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. I don't know if he misheard me because he was just so out of it drunk. But yeah, I remember they were good fun. Good fun, Crossfaith. I wonder if they've done anything new, actually. I haven't. Oh, wow. You know what? I haven't listened to them in many years. I need to catch up with their stuff. That is on my playlist. Crossfaith Ex Machina. Oh, didn't know they did stuff for the Ex Machina. And they're touring in Japan. They come to Europe, but not the UK. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to be keeping it P for hour, definitely, mate. Definitely. Oh, has it died? Oh, well. Guys, I'm going to go anyway. It looks like it's died over on Twitch. No, it's gone. Right, guys, I'm going to go. And, yeah, I'll catch you all later. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. And I'll speak to you next time. It's been a bloody long one. I've really enjoyed it. Right, catch you later, everyone. Bye-bye.